Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. Welcome to 1.13, aka Great Wave. This is the new DLC. As you can see, it comes with a lovely new map style. Really cool here. We got a lot of nice design work going on here. We're playing as Japan. We got a lot to do. You all voted in the posts tab. We are going to end up creating a military alliance to resist imperialism. We are going to hold to our traditional way of life here in Japan. So that's going to be really interesting. There's going to be a lot going on, and you can see some of it right away. Let's just take a quick pass through where we're starting and see where we are. So tech, we're woefully behind. We have all the tier 1... Oh, yeah, sericulture. Nice. Oh my gosh, we don't have all the tier 1s. We're still missing cotton gin and lathe in production. That hurts. Military, for... Okay, we've moved Army back over to the left and Navy back over to the right. Navy's gotten a rework. Oh, look at this. Modern ironclad requires breech-loading artillery. So there's some touch between these trees now. Okay, all right. So that's pretty cool. We lack both mandatory service and line infantry, army reserves, and Napoleonic warfare. That's awful. That's just terrible. Over here on the Navy side, we don't have paddle steamer. That's going to spread to us over time. So, you know, we're pretty far behind militarily as well. Over here in society, under the urbanization side, we've got colonization, but we're missing banking, currency standards, and stock exchange from the tier 1s. From the tier 2s, or from the rationalism side, we don't have any of the third row of tier 1s. Mass communication, medical degrees, romanticism, empiricism. So that's going to be really brutal. We have significantly reduced tech spread from being an unrecognized major power, from having censorship, and from having sakoku. I believe that's our version of our free trade law. Speaking of which, let's take a look at that. We have a highly legitimate government under Tokugawa Ianari. Tokugawa is his family name, Ianari is his personal name. His heir is Tokugawa Ieyoshi, and what a fine hat this young man has, this 42-year-old young man. Oh, that's his military uniform. He's a commander. That's neat. All right, let's take a look at our laws. We got the basic, Sakoku is our isolationism. So we got the standard start for countries who are very far behind. We do have private schools, which is a really interesting thing to have. We have a few other things. We have a caste system now as Japan. We're going to look more into that. You can feel free to pause it during that to look at. But first I want to look at our modifiers. So under Sakoku, this is our version of isolationism. Disallow aggressive diplomatic plays. Oh, that is brutal. Reduce trade capacity. But I notice none trade capacity. I have 5 max trade levels. None of these show max trade levels. A lot of leverage resistance. That's good. Significantly reduced influence. Significantly increased authority. When revoked, internal movement controls will be relaxed, causing us to adopt migration controls. Okay, that's interesting. Tokugawa Shogunate, okay, migration controls. And the daimyo will no longer support sakoku over mercantilism. That's quite curious. So that's very interesting. Okay, so we can't attack anyone until we get off of isolationism, which is really, really interesting. We're on land-based taxation. That sucks. And we have a special variant of autocracy called Bakufu. I believe what this does is it's giving us less political strength to aristocrats, more to officers, and some to servicemen, which is also interesting. We're getting 1 government size allowance out of autocracy. which is not something you normally get out of autocracy. So that's pretty good. And we got the same legitimacy modifiers. Okay, all right. So we could make a mostly legitimate government by pulling in the Heimin, which is pretty curious. We can't by pulling in the samurai, which is pretty curious. We got some custom ideologies here, so let's take a quick look at those. Our intelligentsia leader is a modernizer. You all are familiar with that from previous runs. He likes protectionism, he likes interventionism, he likes proportional and graduated taxation, he likes public schools, commercialized agriculture, and then here in social order, he likes lax status order. We'll take a look in that in a second, in the social order laws. But then here, our leader of the armed forces, the samurai, is Mitogaku Samurai, if we're in Britain, which I'm not. This leader is an adherent of Mito studies, a patriotic, academic, and political doctrine originating from the Mito domain. They revere the emperor as ruler of the world and seek to reform Japan in order to resist foreign encroachment. So, migration, they like closed borders and dislike no migration controls. Okay, that's normal. Economic system, they like interventionism. They're okay with command economy and laissez-faire, and they're strongly against agrarianism, extraction economy, cooperative ownership, traditionalism, and industry banned. Curious. They like proportional and graduated taxation. Okay, that's normal. They're okay with per capita, but they prefer proportional and graduated. That's really good. They like public schools. That's really good. They like mass conscription. That's interesting. They like je ne sais for the Navy model. We're going to look at Navy models in a second. And they like lax status order. Okay. And then our daimyo. What's your stance on Edo status system? You strongly endorse rigid. You endorse loosened. You dislike lax. All right. So let's look at the. Oh, hold on. We also. Okay. I jumped the gun a little bit. I am going to look at our Edo status system and our merchant and our Navy model in a second. But first, let's look at our other special ones. Terracoya, our variation of private schools. We have reduced tech research speed. Oh god, that's brutal. But we have a big bonus to education access and a big bonus to education access for peasants, which is interesting. Do we have an institution? No, not for that. Curious. Okay, that's really interesting. But all these other... Okay, so... Weird. Okay, so we can't go off of this to public school, to private schools, only to religious or public schools. And all the other versions of schooling still provide an institution, this one does not. Alright, that's really curious. That's really interesting. This might be a huge bonus long term. Next, let's take a look at Warrior Caste. This is a Peasant Levies modifier. Officers' qualifications limited to upper strata is the thing that's jumping out to me on this. 1% conscription rate. That's not as good as normally. Minus 15% morale loss. That's pretty good. Allows only infantry conscript battalions. That sucks, but it could be worse. Reduced military goods cost. Plus 5 barracks max level. Plus 10 maximum conscription rate. Plus 25% military wages and some extra political strength for officers. Okay, so this isn't as bad as Peasant Levy normally is, because it makes our samurai stronger instead of our shogunate. It's still called the shogunate, right? The daimyo. All right. So these are some benefits. But Bakufu was also good, but Sakoku sucks. Not to get political. We got serfdom, we got legal guardianship, we got guild system, okay. We got slavery banned. That's good. I'm pleased with that. Let's look at the... Okay, before we do this, I know I keep promising we're going to look at the Edo system. We're not going to look at the Edo system yet. Let's take a look at our society. Social classes. We have the Edo status system. So the upper strata are the upper samurai, which is academics, aristocrats, and officers. The middle strata is the lower samurai, who are bureaucrats and servicemen, and Jisha, who are clergymen. Interesting. Okay. The lower strata are the Hayakusho, who are peasants, farmers, and laborers. The Chonin, the Eta Hinin, who are slaves, and the Chonin, who are everyone else. Machinists, engineers, clerks, shopkeepers, and capitalists. So that's going to be really, really interesting. That is going to really radically change the way this game plays. Okay, all right. Religions were 99.9% Mahayana. That is what it is. My religion law is freedom of conscience. My citizenship law is subjecthood, which is really interesting. We may be able to get off this to our advantage. Okay, so... And then let's look... Okay, so now that we've seen our classes, let's take a look at our thing. So what do I need to remember? Servicemen are middle class. Engineers, machinists, clerks, shopkeepers, and capitalists are all lower class. Officers are upper class. Officers and academics are upper class. Okay, that's what I need to remember. Really interesting. Really interesting. That's going to change things pretty radically. So, our current order is the loosened order. We have rigid, which is more, and lax, which is less. So, at our current level, minimum acceptance for the upper samurai is 80. Minimum acceptance for the lower samurai and Jisha is 60. Minimum acceptance for the Hayakusho and Chonin are 40. So that's everyone except for the slaves. Maximum acceptance for the Hayakusho and Chonin are 79. Maximum acceptance for the Eta Hinin, that's the slaves, are 19. Okay, so anyone who's enslaved will suffer violent hostility, I think is the lowest level. Reduced qualification growth for all classes. Least for the upper samurai, but significant for every other class as well. Between 30 and 40%. I don't need to memorize those numbers specifically. So, if we go to a rigid status order, that doesn't change the minimum or maximum acceptance. Oh no, it does. It does. It changes the minimum for Hayakusho and Shonin to 20, and the maximum for those two classes to 59 instead of 79. And increases the maximum of lower samurai and Jisha to 70. Okay, so going to a rigid status order locks everyone who's not in the upper samurai out of full acceptance. That's bananas. I don't know why anyone would do this. This is to me, this reads as social death spiral. Then we go to lax status order. This reduces the qualifications penalties for everyone except the Eta Hinin, the slaves, and it increases the maximum acceptance to the Eta Hinin. So, to me, loosened is okay. Lax would be really nice in terms of qualifications. But it's not critical. Really interesting. And let me take a quick look at society. So this, okay, and this social status system affects every pop that is of Japanese or Ryukyu in culture, which is an overwhelming abundance of the country, almost the entire thing. So, I know y'all are anxious to get going. We looked into tech already. I'm gonna do the same thing I always do. I need to live, which means I need Napoleonic warfare. Napoleonic warfare. This is gonna unlock lancers and mobile artillery. Line infantry is gonna unlock line infantry, and mandatory service is gonna be the stepping stone to that. These are critical. I need to. If I don't get these, I will basically be in a situation where I will lose every war with a European power by default. I'm not. I see you up there, standard of living 5.1 in the red. I see you. I'm getting to you. We got two journal entries here: the locked country and the Tenpō crisis. Let's take a look at the locked country first. Since the Kan-ei era and the earliest days of Tokugawa power, Japan has been a country closed to outsiders. A trickle of trade with a few select nations and a few designated ports is all that has ever been allowed. While this system has lasted for more than 2 centuries, The world is beginning to change in ways that make it harder to keep the country locked down, even if interests within Japan wish things could remain the same forever. If foreign attempts to open our lands cannot be stopped, then we must import their ideas as well as their goods. We'll complete if the shogunate does not have sakoku and does not have closed borders in their laws. If completed, triggers the event the Picked Lock. Today, Japan opens up stronger Chonin, Rangakusha, and Gosho. That's petite bourgeoisie, intelligentsia, and industrialists. Will fail if we lose our monarchy, or if the ruler becomes the emperor without opening up. In which case, triggers the event rusted shut. The lock remains closed. Stronger, Heimin, and Daimyo. Okay, interesting. Next, we have the Tenpō crisis. Declared in 1830, the Tenpō, or Heavenly Protection era, initially lived up to its auspicious name. However, poor weather conditions on Honshu, that's the main island here, would soon result in soaring prices and a countrywide famine, while the increasing wealth and influence of the Chonin threatens the established samurai order, the petite bourgeoisie here. Meanwhile, on the horizon, Western great powers are getting ever bolder, and their merchantmen and gunboats ever closer to our shores. Seeking to address these issues, reform-minded notables have outlined their vision to the Bakufu. Okay, here we go. This is our balanced power situation. So, reformer agenda. Tokugawa Shogunate has enacted lax status order. Tokugawa Shogunate has not enacted hereditary bureaucrats, and has 3 states with a level 3 urban center. And the cloud of the Chonin interest group is 10 or above, which it currently is not. The hardliner agenda, Tokugawa Shogunate has enacted rigid status order. Tokugawa Shogunate has enacted Shinsengumi. That's... Oh, we have a special internal security. Interesting. The state commissions an elite organization of swordsmen to protect government officials and police the capital. Oh, interesting. No politics of assassination for this for this country. And then 40 levels of rice farms we need. How many have we currently got? Doesn't say here. And the Chonin interest group is marginalized. And then there's a shared agenda. No Japanese homeland state is suffering from famine. GDP of 14.3 million. We're currently at 10.6 million, so that shouldn't be too difficult. Army power projection greater than 500. We've got that. And 10 or more levels of naval fortification in the States. This is a new mechanic that comes with the Great Wave DLC. We'll conclude in a successful Tenpō reform if we've completed at least 8 agenda goals. If completed depending on the number of shared, reformer, or hardliner goals, the reward will change. Triggers the event mandatory reforms. If time runs out, triggers the event action inaction. So, both the hardliner and reform factions believe it is imperative to safeguard Japan from external threats, and the issue of food security in the economy must be addressed. That's the shared. Reform faction believes Japanese society has irrevocably changed, and that the laws of the country should be based on the actual state of the country, rather than the ideals of a romanticized past. It believes in the political elevation of Japanese commoners and the promotion of commerce. The hardliner agenda is, the hardliner faction believes that Japanese society is in moral decay, and that this decay can only be arrested by a return to tradition. It believes in the introduction of stricter sumptuary laws. That's the Edo status system. Sanctuary laws are like laws about what you can wear and how good you can look in public. How nice food you can have, etc. He believes in the introduction of stricter sumptuary laws and for the samurai to forego the luxuries of the cities and return to their idealized role as austere rural administrators. So if we succeed at this, we get... if we have an equal number of hardliner and reformer agendas, we get measured reforms. Extra bureaucracy, extra legitimacy, reduce radicals from political movements. Extra home defense, not sure what that is. Extra political strength of bureaucrats. And 5% of Millstone and Pops become more loyal. If we've completed the reformer agenda, we get extra influence instead of bureaucracy. Reduced loan interest rate instead of legitimacy. Extra political strength to capitalists. Extra political movement, pop attraction. and stronger shonin, petite bourgeoisie, pop attraction. And that's probably going to include the capitalists, interestingly. And then if we complete a hardliner agenda, we get extra authority, improved suppression impact on political movements, reduced political movement pop attraction, increased political strength of officers, and 5% of upper stratum pops more loyal. I think if we complete the reformer one, we get more loyal lower stratum pops. Alright, so this is interesting. I think I'm going to go for the shared agenda, so that's kind of what we're going to see. But first things first, we got to build up our industrial capacity. So this is interesting. We have 12 years. Oh, and we have some options here. Combat rice hoarding. The political and economic instability of the Tokugawa Shogunate has caused unscrupulous actors to purchase and hoard large quantities of rice, driving up prices. As a consequence, many Japanese families now find themselves without the means to purchase rice to feed themselves. If we have 40 levels of rice farms or more, and a state that has a famine with 10% more expensive than the base price for grain in that state, then we can click this button and it increases goods consumption for peasants. So that's interesting. We can issue the Edo Osaka confiscation order, and we can't do this unless we've got a famine and at least 40 levels of rice farms. Issue Edo Osaka confiscation order. The area within Tenri of Edo and Osaka represents a complicated jumble of Tenryo, Daimyo, and Hatamoto-held land. As the lack of a unified administrative structure has severe effects on national defense and our ability to utilize the land's full potential, a leading Roju has proposed its confiscation and consolidation. Displaced landowners will be awarded compensatory lands elsewhere in Japan. At least one of these. We have a ruler who's imperious, or a modernizer, or Mitogaku, or China has been defeated by the Western powers. We have, and then, or we need any state in Kanto or Osaka to be owned, to have a naval fortification. Triggers the landowner's resist centralization, costs 2,700 pounds for 5 years. Radicalizes 2% of pops in both those lands, but reduces decree cost, increases tax collection, and increases infrastructure for 20 years. Interesting. Finally, we have issued the Frugal Ordinance. The growing decadence of the urban shonin is threatening the stability of our rule. They've now begun to act above their station, flaunting their wealth for all to see. We must remind them of their role in society by imposing legal restrictions on luxury items, entertainment, and literature. At least one of the following. We've enacted loose under rigid status order. Legitimacy of the government is greater than 75. Chonin are not in the government. Affects 5% of upper stratum pops become more loyalist. 5% of lower stratum pops become more radical. Frugal ordinance is added to loosened status order, and this does what? It makes the samurai and the daimyo happier, makes the chonin unhappy, reduces chonin political strength, and reduces minimum expected standard of living for the lower strata. Whoa. That's really interesting. I am very much considering this. As long as we've got the Tenpō crisis going, extra radicals from low legitimacy. Radicals and loyalists from standard of living changes are increased by 10%. Increased radicals and loyalists from political movements by 10%. We have widespread rice hoarding, extra goods consumption for peasants. All right. So, I know that was a lot. Let's take a look at our market and see what's going on. It's not looking great, my nerds, but we've got quite a bit of wood, and we're going to need more of it because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get building stuff. Oh, monthly player support. Interesting. That's something useful. I have 2 construction sectors rolling with wood frame. Oh, wood frame produces 4. Is this more? I feel like wood frame used to be 2 and iron frame used to be 5. That's really interesting. In any case, let's get some more construction sectors. Oh, they broke up some states too. Look at this. Look at this. Hokoshinetsu and Tokai, and we have Osaka and Kyoto. Interesting. Let's continue to build. Let's focus on Kanto and Osaka And we'll build one each in Tokai and Kyoto. And then between those, we're going to have to get some more wood. Oh, look at this. Fish fertilizers. Okay, so this is a fish input instead of a fertilizer input. That's quite curious. These farms would be more productive if they were not using fertilizer, but I need to make sure my grain supply is good to go. In any case, I'm not really interested in that at the moment. I need wood production. I do have some tooling, which means I do have some tooling workshops. Okay. So maybe what this means is that I can actually go right away to building iron mines. Because that'll get my tool production up and that'll let me get more wood. So, where do I have iron mines available? I have one available in Kanto, 53 in Tohoku, 15 in Hokoshinetsu, 2 in Kyoto, 16 in Chugoku, 4 in Shikoku, and 6 in Kyushu. I think I'm going to build up. I want to do one level in Kanto and one in Kyoto. I'll queue in the next one in Kyoto just to get that rolling. And now I think we are basically good to go. We have a very low standard of living, and it's going to get lower. Small arms are expensive in the Japanese market. That's not something I can do anything about right now. In fact, we're going to throw some consumption taxes in there. So, services, we're going to consumption tax. That's always the place we're going to go. Liquor, tobacco. What else? I see we're low on taxation capacity in most areas. That's not going to change for a ways through the playthrough. So it is what it is. Not a lot else. We'll hit T and we'll hit... But I think everything else will leave because I want to throw some decrees into place. I need road maintenance in the places that I'm building up. And that's how we're going to start. We do have a famine in Nensei Shoto. Wait. All states. Where is Nensei Shoto? Is it up here? Yuan Mosir. Is it the Ryukus? Yes. It's in the Ryukus. We got a famine in the Ryukus. A very serious famine. Okay. We have no food production here whatsoever. So, I'm going to have to deal with that. But not yet. Let's get rolling here. No. The era of heavenly protection. Following the years of adverse weather, famine grips the land of the Tokugawa Shogunate. With the poor and destitute struggling to make ends meet, the Bakufu faces growing discontent from those who believe that the government could do more. His wife's woven textiles had always fetched a good price at the market, and in better days would even afford them the occasional piece of confectionery. Now they only fetched 4 or 5 go of rice, if that. Barely enough to feed them for a day, he thought, much less the week they needed, even when supplemented with foraged leaves and weeds. He took the path home, briefly stopping in view of old Tora's home. The pox had already claimed 2 of his children, and if the rumors about the raincoats were true, were likely to claim more in the weeks to come. Clutching a sack of rice tightly, he offered a silent prayer and left. Oh, heaven, protect us. And to the Tenpō crisis, we've already got that. Severe torrential rains struck Honshu, ruining the country's critically important rice harvests and severely degrading Japanese food security. All across Honshu, the abodes of moneylenders and suspected rice hoarders are targeted by mobs engaging in so-called uchikowashi, resulting in countrywide devastation. Refers to the act of destroying the property of perceived immoral actors such as moneylenders, rice hoarders, and price gougers by members of the public. While these acts were often accompanied by looting, in many cases the perpetrators of uchikowashi would deliberately refrain from doing so in order to highlight the legitimacy of their act. In any case, this is going to radicalize 2% of the middle strata and 5% of the lower strata. Oh, heaven, protect us. Alright, we'll get rolling here. Tahiti is improving relations. Oh, yeah, I should do some diplomacy. Who are some good rivalry targets? Hawaii? Nepal. Should I rival Burma and Dainan? I don't think so. I'm definitely going to rival... Well, not necessarily going to rival Joseon. Siam, Burma, Dainan. Let's keep them chilling for now. I'm not going to rival Great Qing yet. And I'm going to start by improving relations with the GPs. Britain is protective of me. France is cautious. I don't have the influence. Oh my goodness, I'm in an influence crisis already. My nerds, help! Help, I have Sakoku, help! Alright. I gotta rival somebody. Let's rival Burma. No, let's rival Joseon. I think they're not diplomatically independent. One day we'll be friends. France? Let's be better friends. Alright, and now we'll get rolling. We're going. Oh my gosh, I've already spent half an hour and we've barely gotten the game started. Increased interest here for Prussia and Austria. Interesting. By the way, if you're enjoying the run so far, drop a like, drop a subscription. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks so much. If you want to support me financially, there's a link to my Patreon in the description. For a bowl of rice, accusations of rice hoarding and price gouging have caused tensions between farmers and merchants in Osaka to boil over. With the peasants' ranks swelled by brigands and beggars, local authorities now face a province-wide rebellion. He'd been one of the first, those merry few who had attacked the wicked merchant's home and distributed his ill-gotten goods to the masses. But as his eyes wandered around the campfire, he realized how few of them were left. Ikichi and Matsuzo remained still, though they resembled little the men he once knew, beaming with righteous fury. Fukumatsu had lost his life on the second day, followed by Takeshichi on the seventh. The rest had scattered like leaves as the magistrate's men pursued them. The character of the men who had replaced them filled him with shame and despair, but he saw no other way, for even poor company such as theirs seemed divine when compared with the executioner's saw. Dispatch men to crush these villains? 4% of lower startup pops lose their lives! Oh god, that's really, really bad. 2% of lower stardom pops become more radical. 8% devastation gets brutal anti-bandit campaigns for 5 years. No devastation recovery. Reduced pop strength, increased mortality. Let the unrest die out on its own. 2% of middle stardom pops lose their lives. 5% of middle and upper stardom pops become more radical. Lingering banditry for extra radicals from political movements and reduced throughput. Whew! That's really brutal. That's really, really brutal. I have 1.75 million radicals already. Okay, we're talking about Osaka. We're talking about a population of 4 million. So 4% is 160,000 people. Roughly. Because the lower strata is 3.87 million. The middle strata is 76,000. So 2% of the middle strata. 2% of the middle strata is less than 1,000 people. I gotta go with the second one. We're gonna have to let the unrest die out on its own. That's brutal. That is extraordinarily brutal. Alright, we're still building up construction sectors. How's our wood supply going? We have no trade whatsoever. Alright, so I am going to need... Alright, so now we're rolling in iron mines. I hope I haven't run myself out of wood. I believe I have not. We are importing a little bit. An English national awakening in the home counties. Okay. We have a boat. We have a boat. Alright, so first things first, we're building iron mines. And that's going to allow us to build more tools, which is going to allow us to get more wood, which is going to allow us to construct faster. That's our priority in the early part of the game, is to be building more. where is our extraction industry chiefly? Let's put... Well, we're building... So for now, we're going to put encourage resource industry in Kanto, because that's where we're putting our iron mines. That's going to change eventually. Interests have tiers now. That's going to matter. I'm going to look into that later, but I just want to kind of get the game rolling. Now, where are my tooling workshops? My tooling workshops are in Kanto. Okay. So maybe I shouldn't be focusing on extraction there. But I'm going... Well... Actually, no. I'm going to focus on manufacturing in Kanto for now, because that's where my tooling workshops are at. Ooh, there's an established missions decree for extra education access, food security, conversion, and colony growth speed. Curious. Oh, this is something I can do here. I am colonizing in the north. Am I not? I'm not. Not yet. Okay. Oh, the other thing I wanted to look at is I have access to a special internal security law called Shinsugumi. So, regular secret police are increased amenability. For each level of home affairs, 3 amenability, 5+5 strength for support separatism and support resistance. For support separatism in other countries, strength, and resistance to other countries supporting separatism in my country. 5% increased suppression impact on political movement attraction, 5% reduced political movement activism, and minus 10% revolution and secession speed, as well as plus 0.7 coup resistance. As a whole, it increases the political strength of officers. Shinsengumi provides the same amenability, a larger suppression impact on political movement attraction, but no modifier to separatism, and no modifier to act, and a bigger and the same modifier to activism, but no revolution and secession progression speed, the same coup resistance, but increase the strength of officers and shopkeepers. Oh, but it's not per home affairs level, it's with no home affairs. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Maybe we will simply pull... Oh, man. Okay, can't do that. Could do this. Which interest groups like Shinsengumi? It's only the samurai and the chonin. So we're going to have to leave that for now. Alright. Let's get rolling here. I still need to get... Oh! The chonin are around now. Excellent. Can I pull you into the government? Yes, but you would make me totally illegitimate. Oh, interesting. They've got a moderate in charge. Okay, so if I put the samurai in, then I could get Shinsengumi. So I think I'm going to do that. I think that will be good for the country. Let's get going. I don't need to negotiate with anyone because there's barely anyone opposing this. Come on, give me iron mines. Joseon is rivaling me. Alright, that's cool. That's fine. This is fine. So, as we build our first iron mine, let's get our tooling workshops over to using wrought iron tools. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to produce a ton more tools. It's going to create an iron shortage. The iron shortage is going to create demand for iron, which is going to get this mine employing like mad. And that's what we need. We need this iron mine to start producing iron. Spiking the number of tools is going to mean increasing the number of Actually, there's very little demand for tools right now, so I could switch some of my logging camps right over to sawmills. So let's do that. That's going to increase the price of tools, which is going to be good for us overall. How's that going to do the price of tools? All right, so that's good. The number of tools has gone down a little bit, but it should go up before too long as we get the iron to produce them available for purchase, which should be going at a good, healthy clip. This place should be hiring, and it is. All right, perfect. Opposition members put forth demands. Who's against this? The Rangakushu. More pragmatically inclined members of the Rangakushu, currently opposed to the passing of Shinsengumi secret police, have offered to change their stance were they to be offered certain political concessions. Such concessions would not be popular with the Chonin, however. Compromise makes for a good umbrella, but a poor roof. It is a temporary expedient, often wise in party politics, almost sure to be unwise in statesmanship. Acquiesce to their demands, the bill must pass. Pissed off Chonin, which I don't love, but it is what it is. Increased enactment success chance, and then adds political concessions, stronger intelligentsia to the thing. In my experience, political concessions doesn't really seem to do much, so I'm inclined to do this. Compromise is a tool of the weak. Reduce enactment success chance, reduce enactment time. Chonin gets happier. Or a prime opportunity to break the bill from deadlock. Chonin get really, really mad. And reduce enactment success time, but one entire free phase. I'm going to go with acquiesce to their demands. I think that's fine. The Rangakushu will be mad about everything forever, and that's okay with me. Second iron mine is coming online now. I'm going to go to all buildings here because I want to make sure that this tooling workshop gets itself properly employed. What does the tooling market look like? Okay, we're still a little bit under demand. So let's get a few more logging camps using a tooling-based method. So this should really spike the price of tools by a lot. Alright, hopefully that'll lead to increased production. We do have... So starting with tooling workshops as Japan is very, very good. That's a change. We're still not fully employed here. This produces a lot of tools. 60 per level. Interesting. Yeah, and then we're going to have increased iron supply and increased tool usage from having more iron mines. So what's the iron situation look like now? It's okay. It's okay. I think I want to get one more level of tooling workshops in here before I start going really buck wild. Public address goes awry. Stall. What was meant as a routine speech about the merits of Shinsengumi secret police by Konoike Yakizune, that's Konoike Yakizune, he is the leader of the Chonin, has quickly devolved into a public relations disaster for the Chonin. Fumbling his way through a series of poorly presented talking points, Konoike Yakizune's arguments have been viciously and convincingly picked apart by his political opponents. The question on everyone's lips now is merely if this mishap is due to the inherent failings of Shinsengumi, secret police, or can be chalked down to the political incompetence of the Chonin. It's the fault of this poorly thought out proposal. Reduce enactment success chance by 15%. Konoike Yukizune must take the blame for this setback. Reduce enactment success chance, he loses some popularity and the Chonin become weaker. Or scrap the current draft and make a show of a rewrite. One setback, increase enactment success chance, increase enactment time. Yukizune becomes slightly less popular. I'm going to go with the third one, actually. I rarely do this, but 38% success chance to 12% stall chance is a pretty alright ratio. Against the odds, despite not enjoying full rights under Japanese law, some wealthier Han people have begun moving into neighborhoods and frequenting establishments they would normally be excluded from. If we want our children to have a future, this is where we should raise them, he said. I want them to live somewhere safe. She crossed her arms. Have you seen the looks we get? When people talk about safe, they don't mean safe for us, they mean safe from us. We made some new regulations to keep the peace. 2% of Han pops become more radical and increase radicalism for pops and open prejudice, violent hostility, and cultural erasure. Or they've fairly earned their success with all that entails. Salty chonin and weaker. 2% of Han pops in the Tokugawa Shogunate become more loyalist. Okay, how many Han pops do we have? There can't be that many. Cultures. Han, 2,000. But... Okay, the overwhelming majority of our country are second-class citizens. We only have about 4K pops in discriminated status. So, unfortunately, I'm simply going to go with the first one. We may need some new regulations to keep the peace. This is basically not going to affect the country in much of a meaningful way at all. Samurai petition government. Representing his constituents in the samurai, Tokugawa Nariaki has issued a formal petition to the Japanese government to pass capital fleet. One last matter for the day, sir. Members of your constituency arrived this morning. They're asking rather loudly and insistently if you would meet up with them about new legislation. Well, is that it? Goodness, you seem as if you've seen a ghost. I'm sure I can spare the last hours of the light for them, can't I? I believe so, sir. They were not taking no for an answer. All right. I'm realizing now I forgot to look at Navy models. So this is all new for me. Let's take a look. We currently have a merchant navy, minus 10% ship construction efficiency, increased supply ships construction efficiency, increased troop ships construction efficiency, minus 10% ship involvement generation. We have 3 other options here. Those options are Je ne colle, which is available once we've invented Je ne colle, increased torpedo craft construction efficiency, increased protected cruiser construction efficiency, increased armored cruiser construction efficiency, increased light cruiser construction efficiency, minus 10% Navy goods cost, increased political strength of officers. The other options are capital fleet, increased prestige from Navy power projection, increased capital ships construction efficiency, increased naval administration hiring speed, significantly increased the political strength of officers, or diplomatic fleet, increased cruiser construction efficiency, increased ship involvement generation, and increased naval administration hiring speed. What's involvement? A country's involvement in a strategic region measures how strong their interest is in the region. You can increase involvement in a strategic region by stationing fleets in a naval HQ, stationing armies in a land HQ, having fleets carrying out orders in an adjacent sea zone, having armies fighting on a front in a region, having states in the region, having claims on states in a region, moving your capital there, signing treaties with countries that are local, and engaging in diplomatic actions with countries that are local. Curious. They want capital fleet, and I'm inclined to give it to them. We will see what we can do. Shipyards are currently building logging, which is great. That's just fine for me. I'm delighted with that. So, how much iron have I got in my market now? Still not a lot. I do want this open. The Coal-borne Incident. A merchant from Great Britain has attempted to ignore the strict protocols of Sakoku and trade in an unsanctioned port. Their vessel, the Colburn, has been driven away under fire by coastal batteries. Relations such as they are with Britain have soured. With Britain. I just said Britain! With Great Britain have soured. Oh, man. This cat knows how to read, barely. The commander grinned as a cannonball finally struck the ship. The law was very clear. The ship had no right to sail these waters. He did not care what the captain aboard the vessel thought. All he wanted was for that ship to turn around and leave. The local garrison did what it was supposed to do, deteriorate its relations with Great Britain by 30. With Britain. Gritton's our word for this playthrough. Gritton. I think this is going to be a bit. If you don't like the bit, let me know in the comments. And to deteriorate its relations back. We should apologize to Gritton and compensate the merchant to smooth things over. Pisses off the Heimin and the daimyo. Or this is an opportunity we need to. This is the opportunity we need to review the necessity of sakoku. The option to forcibly end sakoku will now be visible in the locked country. Heimin become very, very angry. Daimyo become very, very angry. Samurai become weaker. Interesting. I'm not going to go with this yet, but the temptation is strong. I'm simply going to go with the middle one. We're going to compensate them. I want Britain on my side in this run. I need some Europeans in my corner, and Britain is feeling very pleased with me at present. If I can get a defensive pact, then I can shoot at my own landowners as much as I like until they don't have any power anymore. Not that I'm necessarily going to do that, because we are going for a more conservative run through here, but... Hold on. I do need to prioritize building urban centers. Okay, I'm only building in places... Okay, Osaka should be getting more, and then I think the other one we're going to build in is Tohoku, unless we've got a level 2 urban center somewhere else. Alrighty, so... how much urbanization we got? 255, so we're very close, actually, here. Let's queue in some gold mines. Gold mines produce, like, 10 urbanization. How much urbanization do logging camps produce? 10. We only need like 4 more levels here. Maybe we'll build another level of textile mills. Because we're at 255. Oh, because we've been building in Kyoto. Kyoto also needs additional urbanization, but we're already building here. Alright. Nah, I think wood is... No, actually, Osaka needs construction. No, because Osaka has construction. I think I'm going to build construction in Kyoto. Wait. We have 1 level of construction in Tokai, which is here. I think I am going to build there. Do I want to build these soon? I think maybe yes. Are my iron mines mining? Mostly. Do they really only produce... They produce 20 iron per level. Tell you what. Tokai? Let's put you over to iron frame construction. Let's get these mines running. 66 construction. They can stand it. The art of doing nothing. Though previously opposed to Shinsengumi secret police laws, Aizawa Seishisai has considered the support of the samurai's political position, and instead offers support. While speaking with constituents on matters of law, one must first master the art of appearing to do nothing. While you do everything behind whispers and masked men? Indubitably. Welcome their support. Increased knockout chance, slightly stronger intelligentsia, and Rangakusha and Samurai. Or keep a sharp eye, they're up to something 5% inaccurate success chance, and Seishisai gets less popular. I'm going to go with the first one. This might actually be a mistake in the long term, but we'll see. Let's take a look at those iron mines. These ones should be hiring like whoa now. Okay, we have a famine. Where? Still Nansei Shoto. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about that right now. Is this building up tooling the right call? I think it still is. I think I want the iron first, though. I think I actually want the iron first. I think I may have been a mistake to go to iron frame construction, but I think it will be worth it long term. Because I need that iron. I need to get construction up. Getting construction up is of critical importance to our long term strategy. We only have a few construction sectors, and we need them rolling fast and furious. Now I should have. Law of progressive consideration. Wonderful. Okay. The British are shooting at China. I can't get anything for helping, so I won't bother. Alright, what else? What else? Construction of this iron mine is going pretty well now. Then we'll get those tooling workshops rolling. Because getting tooling and iron production rolling is like the thing that you need to do as fast as you possibly can as Japan. And having one construction sector on iron frame is pretty good for the early game because that stimulates the market. Now, where is wood in terms of prices? Wood is still pretty expensive. I am definitely going to need to queue in some more logging camps as time goes by here. The Tenpō crisis is... we're about a year and a half into the Tenpō crisis. Sorry, I'm just refilling my water here. I think... That's right. We're working on the urbanization side, which we are going to complete. That's going to help with the reformers. I would love to have something other than hereditary bureaucrats. I don't think that's going to happen. Clout of the Chonin at 10 or above is just going to kind of happen over time. Law of progress to adoption. Okay, we're going really fast over here. This is very good. Coup resistance is going to be very important in terms of our situation. Our GDP is also stagnant, actually, but it will be going up more. Oh, man. They really increased the power of construction sectors. Look at this. That's bananas. Okay, which are the ones that were in wood frame? We got the ones in Kyoto in wood frame. I'm going to put those up at the top. I think when this tooling workshop is finished, well, we'll finish out that construction sector. Then when this tooling workshop is finished, I think I'm going to swap over and build my farm here. So let's get that in the queue. And we'll get that rolling. Do I need these gold mines? They're not critical. They're not critical. But I like having money. I do so enjoy money. Standard of living remains pretty wrecked. But, you know, we're simply doing as we can do. So this is really interesting. I don't know how the change in the way construction sectors work is gonna affect the game as a whole. It might be that they... And there we go. Excellent. So now, I think we got a... Oh, Irish National Awakening. Very cool. So now we're going to go to Capital Fleet. Simply start enacting. I don't foresee any... 36% stall event. Who's upset about this? The Heimin. The Heimin are upset about this. How curious. Why do you care about this? Ah. You want a merchant navy. Tragic. Well, we'll see what happens. We have some ability to negotiate with them. So let's do it. Despite ungentlemanly comments, raised voices, and the shaking of fists, the Heimin have admitted to several compromises that would change their perception of Capital Fleet. After I delivered the Shogun's offer, I became incredibly grateful for the lectern in front of me. My hardwood shield against the onslaught of insults and very physical detritus that was tossed at my person. I raised my arms, but kept my voice level. Gentlemen, please. I concede that this offer may not be all you hoped for, but the Shogun is quite adamant. Capital Fleet is the future of our nation. Put the members into administrative positions. This costs us a bunch of bureaucracy. What are we even using bureaucracy on at this point? Oh, we're using quite a bit. Okay, we're producing quite a bit and we're using quite a bit. Alright, okay. So minus 30% would be a significant shortage. Oh, it's primarily the Sabaku movement. I need to look at my movements. Vow to improve the lives of common people. Psh, I'm not going to do that. Political concessions, or none of these. This pisses them off and reduces their amenability. We'll do political concessions. That's going to make them a little stronger, and that's fine with me. I've found political concessions almost never affect things. So let's do that. So, the Sabaku movement. What do you like? In distro power, you like autocracy, you like peasant levy, you like merchant navy, you like guild system, you like rigid status order, you like secret police. Okay, your activism is 25% and it's projected to stay there. Alright, that's fine. So you guys are kind of our traditionalists. Credit where credit's due. The recent investment in Kanto production in our manufacturing industries has raised the question of who should get the credit for the boost in production. Where would we be without our money, our factories, and our goods? Let all those in the nation know the work and struggle of those who participated and made this great feat possible. Credit the Gosho, stronger Gosho, those are the industrialists. This is a victory for the workers, stronger trade unions. Or focus on someone else, stronger Shonin, but Gosho and trade unions both become pissed off. They are marginalized, so we'll, although I don't want them to remain marginalized. We'll credit the Gosho for now. That's sure to cause things to go. Okay, I'm gonna complete these rice farms really fast. I actually think it's important to get those done ASAP because the Ryukus are starving, and we need the Ryukus to not be starving, and it just seems sensible. After that, it's logging camps. So once that's done, tooling is okay. Iron supplies are okay. So I think a goal is going to be to increase iron supplies, and the location is going to be Tohoku. Let's queue in 10 levels of iron mines. And we'll kind of do other stuff as needed to support the increased construction of iron mines. Now, we got level 2 tooling workshops in Kyoto. Our standard of living is actually spiked, probably due to increased production. So we'll try to build on that. Tooling workshops can't hire, the fuck you can't. Because the iron's expensive. Well, that'll do it. That's the nature of things. Wood is still only moderately expensive. Okay, and the naval construction sector is building gold mines, which is pretty nice. Alright, okay, alright. So I think from here... Now, I do eventually want to get off of traditionalism. A lot of people would be happier with interventionism, but I can't get there as long as the daimyo are stopping me. On to the dogs! A horrendous first draft of Capital Fleet has every faction clamoring to ram in their desired changes. Aizawa Seishisai has whipped up immense public discontent in favor of a rewrite. Double pay on Saturday? Do they think we bathe in money? Then 15 minutes for a smoke break. Preposterous. Assured sickness leave would help blunt tuberculosis outbreaks. Pages brought fresh inkwells and every half-interested note-taker for every half-interested note-taker in the chamber. It was already a long day and promised to be a longer evening. Many more inkwells would be needed before this unruly child was put to bed. Stay the course and clear up any errors. Increased enactment success chance. Shonin unhappy. Hear out Aizawa Seishisai's supporters. 50% chance of increased or decreased enactment success chance. He becomes more popular. Take some of the Chonin's suggestions. Reduce enactment success chance. The Chonin become happier and stronger. I'm going to go with the first one. That's going to give me increased enactment success chance. And that's going to make the samurai happy. Even success and stall chances, that's pretty good. Had a little bit of decay in relations towards Great Britain due to their intervention in China. We're going to see how that goes. Cash flow is still doing okay due to these gold mines getting built, at least partially. The construction of the gold mines is also probably increasing tooling prices, which is fine. GDP is going up. Medium term... Oh, man. I really had a spike in standard of living here. I wonder what that's about. Maybe it's just because it can't be... The price of grain is 2 bananas. No, price of grain's pretty low, actually. Huh. I wonder what's causing that. I'm not complaining, though. Probably it's just all this industry that I'm building up. So the Tenpō crisis... We are almost assuredly going to hit 14.3 million in GDP. 10 levels of naval fortification. So what is a naval fortification and what does it do? Extra naval fortification invasion defense. How much do you cost in terms of construction capacity? So 10 levels is going to cost 7k. It's a lot of money. But how much construction do you cost? 100. Alright, so that's the same as construction sectors, I believe. No, construction sectors are 25. The same as government. Okay, so you build pretty fast. Input goods are iron and small arms. Okay, so we do need to get our arms industry properly rolling before we can do that. But that's going to be very achievable. Then... Okay. Sabuku movement organizes in Japanese Azoshi. Organizers affiliated with the Sabuku movement have embarked upon a focused campaign to inspire support for rigid status order in Japanese Azochi. Residents of every region in the world like to say that their home has a long and unique history of tight-knit community. The organizer almost agreed. The problem, of course, was that said community often did not extend to outsiders. He'd been thrown out on his ear more times than he could count, but he persisted nonetheless. If he could introduce the right phrase into the right circles, perhaps an idea that had been rejected out of hand at first would begin to find purchase. There are plenty of willing ears in Japanese Azochi. Increased political movement pop attraction for the Sabaku movement, and increased universal pop strength of radicals from political movements in Japanese Azochi, or they must be concerned with far more grounded things. The Sabaku movement does not get stronger, and universal pops half the other modifiers for the islands. I'm gonna go with the second one. What is the Sono Joey movement? They like they like oligarchy, mass conscription, Junicol, lax status order, closed borders, and isolationism. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, and they're led by a Mitogaki guy. A lot of progressive consideration. Wonderful. Okay, alright. I still haven't shown off any of the ship designer, but we'll get to that. We've got a lot of stuff to do here. Rolling in as Japan. I just built my second construction sector that's iron-based, which means I'm now in a shortage of iron, but I'm producing more iron mines than I have ever produced. So hopefully the private sector will get the hint and also produce iron mines. Oh, weird. Okay, no, this isn't the naval construction queue. There's simply construction of supply ships. Right. Because supply ships are now individually built and maintained in our shipyards. Okay. That's interesting. And we are paying a certain amount for this. On hardwood and on fabrics, which makes a certain degree of sense. We are using reinforced wooden ships, that's fine. Now, medium term, I shouldn't have built that construction sector, but it is what it is. I'm going to want it long term anyway. It's going to help get our iron mines properly producing. And that's going to be very important. Building up the ones in Tohoku is going to be... Oh, Christ. I'm a fool. I'm a fool! Maintain the roads! Maintain the roads! Let's take a quick look at our consumption taxes. They're still mostly rolling okay. Yeah, nothing else I really want a consumption tax right now. I need to be producing more goods before I can really consumption tax stuff. I suppose I could build up light industry and that would help. But for the moment, I kind of want to continue doing what I'm doing. Now, the Shonin are not really increasing in strength. Beautiful. There's mandatory service. Alright, excellent. The Shonin are not really increasing in strength right now, which is a bit of a shame. Confusion and delay, a debate event. Supporters of Capital Fleet among the Rangakusha, headed by Aizawa Shisai, have questioned the government publicly on the amount of time that is required in order for the law to pass. The government is at this time carrying out an atrocity through cold bureaucracy. It favors procedure over lives, paperwork over hunger. How many people need to suffer for the sake of the feelings of some government functionaries who've never felt a speck of hunger in their lives? Documents can wait, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, but the people's suffering cannot. The bill will be passed when the process is complete. Sono-Joy movement becomes more active and more attractive. Ooh, that's interesting, because the Sono-Joy movement is pretty good to be strong for us. Or documents can wait, the people cannot. You become slightly more attractive, you lose some bureaucracy, and the law enactment goes faster. I'm just going to go with the first one. A stronger Sono-Joy movement is pretty good, in my opinion. Plus their activism is really low. So this is interesting. So we've got closed borders already. If we go out to if we break our isolationism, we'll get migration controls, but it might actually be preferable to go straight towards to go immediately from there to closing the borders again. Just because that would keep our Sono-Joy movement happy. On the other hand, if we didn't, we could use the Sono-Joy movement to get a bunch of other stuff done, which would be nice. It's me or them. Mizuno Tadakuni, leader of the daimyo, the ruling daimyo, has had enough of compromising with his coalition partners. He's demanded that either his collaborators follow his orders or the daimyo will never approve of their changes. That's what leaders are for, right? I lead, you follow. Sounds rather simple to me. If they wanted to lead, they could have been leaders themselves, but I guess no one else thought they could. It's my way or the highway. What a ridiculous thing to say. He loses some popularity, and the daimyo become unhappy. Or very well, the daimyo shall be the leading force. He becomes more popular, and the samurai become unhappy. I'm going to do the first one. I don't like. I don't need that. Unstable government. No, we're at 48. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's because Tokugawa Yanari is arrogant. Fertile ground. Getaya Saged, an Amhara person living in Japan, perhaps? I see he's coming to live here, has apparently decided that Tokugawa Shogunate would be an excellent place to live given the influence of the samurai in the country. So, Getaya Seged is a Republican. Republicans like elected bureaucrats and republics. Tokugawa Shogunate, what a land of opportunity, such a grand nation, so ready for my message. Yes, I will set off at last for this grand country. There's no reason to stop him from coming, he joins. Or, even if it upsets the samurai, we must prevent Seged's arrival. The samurai are very happy right now, I'm gonna say no. We will not make an exception for this one foreigner, no matter how cool and interesting his ideology might be. Enemy of my enemy. Building on a perceived common enmity to the Russian-American company, pro-Dutch associations have become commonplace within the patriotically inclined daimyo. The assembled gentlemen thoughtfully nodded along to the words of the speaker. As long as the Russian-American company remains a threat, no asset to be utilized against her remains unwelcome. For every Dutch effort undertaken at the expense of Anchorage is one less effort they would have to undertake themselves. Encourage them. Netherlands' cause is our own. The daimyo joined the Dutch-Japanese Society. increase their appeasement by 3, and deteriorate relations with the Russian-American company. The daimyo are entitled to their opinions. The daimyo join the society. Or, our relations with the Russian-American company must take precedence. Only 10% chance they join, but 90% chance they become unhappy. I'm going to encourage them. I know that's a little silly, but I can leverage having high daimyo approval to get stuff done that I need to get done. Alright, so we're just about finishing up our 4th iron mine. In order for our market to function, we only need to get up above, like, up to, like, 80, but it'll be nice to have more. I'm definitely going to need small arms production at some point, but I'm not going to need it urgently until I've got line infantry unlocked. I also want to get some artillery in my standing army. And for that, I will need an artillery foundry. Now, do I have the ability to produce steel tools? I think the answer is actually no. I have the ability to use sugar for sweeteners. Let's go ahead and do that. This is going to produce demand for sugar, which is fine, because I'm producing tons of sugar in my country. What's it going to do to demand for groceries? Okay, demand for groceries is still healthy. If we go to pot stills, that's not going to work. Political imprisonment. Eizawa Seishi Sai and his supporters have publicly petitioned at a prison for Osaka for the release of a pro-capital fleet protester held there on charges of disorderly conduct. The prisoner sat in his lightless cell, staring listlessly at the wall. The voices were beginning to carve through his mind again, repeating his name over and over, giving voice to his torment. He closed his eyes and covered his ears, bidding it to stop. Only when blissful silence finally fell over him did he realize the chants were not coming from within his head at all. His imprisonment has already achieved its goals: increased sniping success chance, stronger Sono-Joi movement, or justice will not be overturned by the dictate of the mob. 2% of Rangakusha pops become more radical, 2% of Heimin pops become more loyal, and Seishi Sai becomes less popular. I'm going to go with the first one. Again, I'm happy with a more potent Sono-Joi movement. I think them being stronger is good, actually. I've got an agitator who I can... Oh my goodness. Oh, that's right. So one thing that's fun. Patronize. Oh. One thing that's fun is we've got a national cast now. We've got a whole bunch of people who are happy to step into roles and such like as that if we need them, which is nice. That's a whole set of mechanics. And again, I haven't been showcasing that much, but I'm focusing on the Japan-specific content because that's kind of where we're going. So I could combat rice hoarding. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is going to increase goods consumption for peasants. And I think increased goods consumption is going to be good. We'll see what happens with that. Yeah, I have more than enough ability to produce the necessary grain, so it shouldn't be a problem. Oh, I've got art in the country. Oh, weird. We have naval regions now, like in Hearts of Iron 4. That's neat. That's pretty neat. I'm pretty excited by that. China is cautious towards me. Interestingly, they're still... Oh, I'm giving them money and lead in exchange for sugar. Interesting. What a curious situation. Joseon, of course, is my rival. So, the increase in the iron supply is going pretty well. Now the question I need to ask myself is, do I simply continue to bash away at iron production, or do I focus on... Ooh, we're in adoption for capital fleet. Nice. Now, the tooling workshops in Kanto are having a hard time hiring. In fact, And that's because of the expensive iron. So I think what we're going to do... Have we got level 3 urban centers in Osaka? We don't. What about all the stuff I queued in? Did I make a mistake? Perhaps I did. So light industry produces 20 urbanization per level. I need 45 more urbanization. So I'm going to queue in 1 logging camp, 1 furniture manufacturing, and 1 textile mill, and that's going to get them over the hump. Kanto, we're already there. Tohoku, we're working on it. And then Kyoto, we're pretty close. We have 208. I think a logging camp, a furniture manufacturing. And do I build light industry here? I think I do. And 2 levels of textile mills, and that'll be nice. That'll be a nice little break from my iron mine construction. And once these iron mines are done, that'll allow me to swap over more of my construction sectors to iron, and that'll be nice. That'll be useful. So, let's take a quick look at tech. Once we got Napoleonic Warfare, generally speaking, I go directly to General Staff. I don't think I'm necessarily going to need to do that right now. This is not the direction I need to be going to look at the naval side. As always, we've got paddle steamer spreading to us. I could go Army Reserve directly to General Staff, but I think I need to do production first. I gotta finish out the tier 1s. Cotton Gin's gonna finish very soon. And then I need the Atmo Pump engine, and I need it now. And there's Capital Fleet. Beautiful. After that, I need mechanical tools to railways. And after that, I need intensive agriculture. And do I need mechanized workshops? I do need it. I mean, I need all of this, but I think after that we'll go to General Staff. We'll go to Percussion Cap and then General Staff, and that'll be good. All right. So that's going to make the armed forces very pleased. That should give me a little bit of a legitimacy buff, which would be nice. Now, I could push the armed forces out of the government, but what else are they helping me do right now? I can't get to per capita taxation because I have traditionalism in the economy. And how do I get to interventionism? I need to get serfdom done with first. Okay. Oh! Factory councils. This is new. Workers have been radicalized by revolutionary conditions, seizing control of their workplaces and supplanting previous management structures. Interesting. 50% minimum worker-owned building levels in manufacturing, extraction, power plants, private infrastructure, and arts. Reduced labor movement prop attraction, increased anarchist and communist movement prop attraction, increased trade unions political strength. Okay, so this is a lock-in for the trade unions. Cute. Alright, so we need to get off serfdom. Peasant proprietorship. Oh, this is just homesteading with another name. Alright. Who likes this? It's the peasant movement. Who's going to be against everyone in my government? Okay. Hold on. Let's get the Haymen in here. Then we'll go to tenant farmers. That's going to make that easier because the Haymen are for it. And we can persuade the daimyo to not be against it as bad. Hopefully. The Tokai eruption. A violent eruption has shaken the state of Tokai. Fragments of tephra and volcanic ash have destroyed buildings and crops, taking some of the lives of our people. The dense column of smoke was followed by a clear explosion. Shepherds who worked at the base of the mountain aimlessly turned their eyes at the now bright and clear cloud. The landslide came after. We can't predict an eruption. 20% devastation. Or our people need us. 1,600 in government expenses. 10% devastation. I'm going to pay the expenses. The cash flow situation is great. Oop. Dang it. I had an opportunity to negotiate for a second, and now I don't. That's sad. That's sad. I wanted to negotiate. That's okay. We got good success chance, though. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. If we can do this, then maybe we can get what we need to get. I should look at my abilities. My interest group abilities. Daimyo, we got Noblesse Oblige. Fudai support. Okay, so this is bureaucracy and authority instead. So I've been relying on this to an extent. This will get instead of influence for having the daimyo be happy. In these changing hands, we can still know the value of loyalty. It is our duty to serve and to assist, bolstering the forces of order and virtue. And then Noblesse Oblige. No, Noblesse Oblige is the same. And then outspoken Tozama, inactive. Reduced authority, reduced conscriptable battalions. Although the Tozama are not favored by the government, we share the common interests of our noble station. In these pressing times, their voice is our voice as well. Heimin have the same as always. Samurai have the same as always. Jisha are the same as always. Asceticism is their happy one for a Buddhist devout faction. Reduce radicals from political movements. Rangakusha have the default abilities. Chonin have the default abilities. Gosho. Zaibatsu withdrawal. Reduced capitalist investment pool contribution efficiency. Our financial health would benefit most through a refocusing on currency speculation and internal reinvestment. Public trading is sadly for the government not a priority right now. Engines of progress, that's the same as the default, and Zaibatsu cooperation, increased manufacturing tax income. A healthy relationship between industry and the government benefits everyone. It is in both our interests to ensure this amicable state of affairs continues. Interesting. That's very cool. Alright, so as our iron supply increases, the question we need to ask ourselves is, oh man, I can definitely can I spend more iron on stuff? And the answer is yes. So let's do it. This is going to cost us a huge pile of iron, and that's as intended. Alright, so that'll get us building faster. That'll also increase the price of iron, which is going to help, given that we're building a bunch more iron mines. I can't... Ooh! Progress to consideration. Why do I... Wonderful. That's actually really, really good for me. This is very good. Relations with France are also continuing to improve. Once they top out, we'll be in a better spot. Cash flow is now... We're now in the red, but that's okay. We're doing pretty well cash flow-wise. Oh man, starting with tooling industries as Japan is such a shot in the arm. I'm so pleased. We have one option available in the Tenpō crisis. We can issue the frugal ordinance. Right, because and that's frugal ordinance. Does make the samurai and daimyo happier. Reduce minimum standard of living for the lower strata is really, really good. But I don't like weaker petite bourgeoisie. I need those guys. I need those guys to be stonker. Iron production is increasing. Again, at the beginning of the game as Japan, your primary thing is to get the iron market rolling. I'm actually going to go with one more set of iron frame buildings. Peasantry rebranded. Stall event. Alright, looking good there. A clash of thought has erupted in Kyoto. Rural firebrands have criticized the tenant farmers law for supporting a master-servant relationship with the daimyo. Fact, you work too much for that, madame. All I'm saying is that if I wanted a woman to take all I work for, chain me to a bed, and call her mistress, I'd rather actually owe her money first. The nearest bordello is 3 towns away. Oh, I was thinking of a marriage dowry. Perhaps the revision is in order? Daimyo become unhappy. Reduced enactment success chance. People will work for what they're worth. Heimin become unhappy. reduce enactment success chance, or concessions must not avert the revolution. Reduce enactment success chance, 5% of lower stern pops in the whole country become more radical. I'm going to do the second one. Having unhappy Hayman is okay with me. So who do I want to improve relations with after this? Probably Prussia. The Wall Street Pact has been formed by the United States. It's a trade league. Interesting. Oshio Heihachiro has appeared in the Tokugawa Shogunate. He is a Sonojoy movement fellow. Interesting. What interest group does he like? He's a Rangakusha guy. These guys are both Rangakusha guys. Interesting. Suppose I could do more manipulation of my national caste. But we're doing okay for now. Now, what's wood supplies look like? Wood is actually pretty affordable, so I could build some new construction sectors using wood frame. I've got... Ooh, there's the cotton gin. Nice. I've got 1.6 million gold in the reserve. At this rate, I'm spending 5.5 thousand per week. So that means 250,000 per year. So I got about 7 years of a reserve left. And this cost amount is going to go down as the amount of iron in my market increases, which I am continuing to chip away at. So I think I'm feeling pretty good about that. There's mass communication. That's wonderful. And there's the paddle steamer. Excellent. Bureaucratic embroidery. I hate these. Lawmakers working towards the enactment of tenant farmers have found themselves mired in a particularly complex set of bureaucratic proceedings, grinding the work towards reform to a near halt. The fully developed bureaucratic apparatus compares with other organizations exactly as does the machine with the non-mechanical modes of production. That is to say, the teeth of its individual gears meet in accord, or its gears will gnash and churn until it eventually breaks. Damn this labyrinthine legal system. Reduce enactment success chance, increase enactment time, or cut through at least some of the red tape. 10% of bureaucrats in Kyoto become more radical. Reduce bureaucracy by 5%, increase enactment time by 10%. You know I'm going with that second one. I don't actually need to build more bureaucracy to deal with this, so that's fine. GDP is not going up as much as I was hoping. We now got line infantry spreading, which is really good. I'm focusing on that in my my research band here. So that's good. Medical degrees are spreading as well. So that's also good. I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm working on. Let me see. The whaling situation is quite curious. Okay, I definitely need to build up some more tooling. Let's build that in Tohoku, actually. And we'll roll those up to the top of the queue, just below the current set of iron mines. And we're doing this because we're getting short on tooling workshops. In fact, I'm going to build 2 levels. And I have this one after the next set of iron mines. We need more tooling workshops to support the increased iron mining that we're doing. Ooh. Now, I can take a shot at negotiating with the samurai. That's good. I like those guys. The Haymen have held secret discussions with the samurai, seeking a certain arrangement concerning tenant farmers. The heated mind resents the chill touch and relentless scrutiny of logic. William E. Gladstone. Commit to increasing the size of the army. Increase army power projection from 609 to 1,285. That's not in the cards. Add some fine print about state redemption payments. State redemption payments. What does this do? Reduced agricultural, ranching, and plantation tax income. Oh, that sucks. That's very bad. I am going to be creating some artillery. Let's commit to increasing the size of the army. Having this permanently, though, well, it's only on the agricultural sector. It's only on the agricultural sector. Can I see where my taxes come from? Not really. I really cannot. Both of these are going to cost me money, but this is going to get me something out of it. I'm going to commit to increasing the size of the army. Okay, cool. So now we're back to 20% stall chance, which is nice. And now the samurai are patriotically fervent, which is also cool. Emancipators debate. A group of influential Rangakusha, led by Hotta Masayoshi, are petitioning for the rapid abolition of serfdom. I could wax lyrical about the moral virtues of emancipation all day, and with good reason, but the simple truth of the matter is that serfdom is inefficient. It is economically ruinous, an obstacle to the rightful progression of our nation, both in industry and society. Serfs who work the fields would better be put to use in factories, where they can be gainfully employed and properly industrious. They make an excellent case, increased enactment success chance, or such an inspiring speaker. He becomes much more popular. 33% chance of a huge boost to enactment success chance. 66% chance of a penalty to enactment success chance. I'm going to go with the sure thing. I think it's obvious why. Cash flow is doing okay as the price of iron goes down. Tooling continues to be expensive, but we got some tooling workshops in the queue. I think Tohoku might also be a place we're going to hit a level 3 urban center, but it's going to take a while, so I'm not going too hard on that for now. Let's improve relations with Prussia now that we've maxed out Great Britain. Or now that we maxed out France. Do I have the ability to improve relations with the United States? I don't. We don't share an interest. Right, and there's not declaring interests anymore. I need to actually do stuff. So let's take a look at the diplomacy tree. I need to figure out more about that. Okay, Northeast Asia, this is my area. South China, North China, and Siberia, I'm engaged. Okay, interesting. Indonesia, though. Indonesia, I have no engagement whatsoever. Oceania, I have some. From my rivalry with Hawaii. Okay, interesting. Okay, alright. Mistreatment of serfs. Oh, lots of events going on. Mistreatment of serfs. Daimyo and Japanese Nensei Shoto have become notorious for brutalizing their serfs. Peasants complain of harsh punishments, impossible workloads, and even sometimes torture and murder. She got 30 lashes for dropping the tea. People have been going missing on the estates in the hill. There's a dungeon below the basements. My cousin swears upon it. They torture us and drink our blood. These indignities must end. Increased enactment success chance. Or we will punish the aristocrats with the full force of the law. Minus 20% daimyo interest group strength, but only for 2 years. Let's say these indignities must end. We'll just go with extra enactment success chance. I do have the ability to negotiate with the daimyo, but I don't think I need to at this stage. The death of the Daijo Tenno. The retired emperor, abdicated father of the sitting emperor, has passed away. He is remembered for his efforts to restore imperial prestige, and has been granted the posthumous name of Kokaku. Toho dipped his brush into the ink. Its tip moved to the page, forming the characters for the day, year, and weather. It moved to the next column and stopped. What wording would be proper? How best to express the significance of what had happened? He had heard rumors of the retired emperor's great efforts to restore the court. He recalled his reign, the reports of the ceremonies he had revived, and that he had received the court's envoy and had learned the truth of it. Then he received the court's envoy and learned the truth of it. The brush touched the paper, received a request for precedent regarding the emperor's title, consulted the imperial genealogy, and delivered advice. Will his descendants realize his wishes? Alright, so nothing to be done from that yet. Central Europe interest here increased. That's curious. To observant. Alright, we're watching. We're watching what's going on there. Okay. Yeah, I am definitely going to want to have a navy at some point. But right now I can't afford anything as I focus on increasing the size of my economy, both to deal with the Tenpō situation, which Getting this number up has proven shockingly difficult. I'm basically doing it entirely with government spending. Standard of living has spiked quite a bit. So I'm doing that part right, at least. Consumption taxes, really still not many that I would get much use out of. No end in sight for optimal sunlight. Well, the party will last forever, clearly. And there's line infantry. Beautiful. Alright, so first things first. Let's get ourselves arms industry in Tohoku. I'm going to throw this at the top of the queue below the current iron mine. How is the price of tooling? The price of tooling is still quite high. Price of iron is moderate. Centers break ranks. Stall event. To outside observers, the daimyo may appear firmly committed to the idea of tenant farmers, but behind this facade of unity, discord has long festered. Now a clique of dissenters has finally had enough and have officially broken with their fellow members over the issue of the reform. For how long have we stood together? How many times have we lent a willing hand your way? Yet our own concerns are left unanswered, our own desires left unmet. If we shall not be heard here, we shall be so elsewhere. Splitters, may the devil take them. Weaker daimyo, reduce enactment success chance. Loosen the purse strings, perhaps we can lure some of them back. Slightly weaker daimyo, not as much reduction to enactment success chance, but costs the government money. Or offer them custodianship over a new draft. Increase enactment time, one setback, increase enactment success chance. Daimyo become unhappy. I'm actually going to go with the third one. I'm going to take a setback. I'm in consideration now, and I got 54% success chance out of it. So hopefully we'll be good to go. Once we get this arms industry built, we're going to convert all of our infantry over to... Oh, we're already upgrading to line infantry. It's automatic? Huh. How do I... Oh, I see. Up, and this will... Hitting this button is what I do. Okay, alright. I got it. So at some point there will come a point when we need to build artillery as well. I'm still cracking away at Napoleonic warfare. I do have that spreading to me, which is going to make that go a little bit easier. I'm already in the 1840s, and I haven't built a single university. I know there are some of you out there who go to GenCat universities. Why would you bother with that business? And the answer is because I need tech to stay competitive. I'm way behind in technology, as you have seen from where we started. My maximum investment in technology is actually pretty high, because I have a pretty high base literacy and literacy from abilities. I've got a little bit of influence to play with. Can I improve relations with... Let's improve relations with Russia. I want to be better friends with Russia for now. Law stalled. Oh, that sucks. Stop it. I'm at 40% success chance. You dorks. Give me more tenant farmers. Let me tenant farm. I like it. Low standard of living, I've only gotten a couple areas now, which is pretty okay. I'm feeling pretty good about that. So yeah, standard of living continues to go up. Standard of living's rock solid. I don't know what's causing that, but I'm happy about it. Western Europe, interest tier decreased to nothing, to none. Yep, that's fine. That's fine. That's just fine. Okay, May. Interesting. They don't want... Would they guarantee our independence, I wonder? It doesn't seem like that's an option. Why isn't it? Highest overlapping interest here is not high enough. Alright, that's curious. I wonder what to do about that. I'm not rightly sure. Alright. Arms industries are almost done. So soon, we'll be able to start upgrading our armies. And that'll get us part of the way to fulfilling our commitment to increasing the quote-unquote size of the army. It's an army reform. All right, there's adoption. That's very good. We'll go ahead and hit this button. I guess this button just highlights that there's upgrades available. I wonder if doing these all at once was maybe a mistake, but we'll find out, I suppose. The appointment of Ieyoshi. Ieyoshi is our new Keishi. Tokugawa Ienari, the time of Tokugawa Ienari has ended. Tokugawa Ieyoshi is the new Keishi of the Tokugawa Shogunate. As the new head of the Tokugawa clan, Tokugawa Ieyoshi has been granted the office of Shogun by the Emperor. The new Shogun is viewed with derision by many daimyo, having yet to establish personal authority. A rainbow of daimyo wound their way through the O-Hiroma. Atop its uppermost dais sat the Shogun, clad in black and red, the imperial decree in a box to his right. One by one, nobles in reds and blues and violets bowed before him, presenting swords and gifts of gold. The Shogun did not speak, nor did those prostrating themselves. Those of lower rank, forbidden from seeing him, crowded outside the hall. A chant rose from the garden. Goshoshin. Goshoshin. He removes trait reserved, he gains trait imperious, and becomes ruler. Okay, that's exciting. And we still got a righteous government, so that's good. Let's take a quick look at this. How long is it going to take? Okay, our arms industries are barely producing. Hardwood is expensive in our market. We could produce a little bit more hardwood with our logging industries. Go to market squares. I'm going to do that. It's so little actual impact, it should be fine. Let's produce a little bit more hardwood. Daimyo Matsumai Masahiro has become an adult. Traits sickly, tuberculosis, psychological affliction, hedonist. He's adopted the traditionalist ideology. Interest group Chonin. Interesting. Okay, so we're gonna get announcements about the cast of characters as time goes by here. Go to fishing trawlers. The penalty to all clippers. Right, we don't have. Oh, there we go. Commitment to enlarge the army completed. Beautiful. Excellent. I'm delighted by this. North German National Awakening in Lower Silesia. Excellent. Still got a little bit of a shortage of small arms. Do you have the capacity to produce enough small arms for this to matter? That's actually the question. Answer, kinda no. So we'll increase the level of the arms industries by 1. And we'll throw them at the top of the queue. We'll finish the tooling workshops, and we'll finish the iron mines, and then we'll do another. Opposition members put forth demands. Debate event for the enactment of tenant farmers. More pragmatically inclined members of the Heimin, currently opposed to the passing of tenant farmers, have offered to change their stance were they to be offered certain political concessions. Such concessions would not be popular with the daimyo, however. Compromise makes for a good umbrella, but a poor roof. It is a temporary expedient, often wise in party politics, almost sure to be unwise in statesmanship. Acquiesce to their demands, the bill must pass. Daimyo become unhappy. 10% enactment success chance, political concessions added to tenant farmers. Or compromise is a tool of the weak. Reduced enactment time, reduced enactment success chance. Daimyo becomes slightly happier. I'm actually going to pick the second one. I need to not piss off my daimyo. I'm at 35% enactment success chance with only a 19% stall chance. I've only got one setback, so I'm hoping I can make this work. I would love for the private sector to build these arms industries, but them's the breaks. Edo Guard Army needs a new leader. Let's see, who do we have? I've got Tori Yozo. He's a daimyo guy, but I've got three samurai in the pot here. You're a traditionalist, you're a moderate, you're an authoritarian. Let me see, you're imperious and a supply requisitions expert, you're a surveyor and bigoted, you're ambitious and a woodland combat expert. I'm gonna go with this moderate supply requisitions guy. I think that's the most sensible way of going about things. Alright. So that's going to improve that, the Edo Guard's position overall. Cash flow is a little tight right now, but obviously that's partially because we're paying for all these small arms that we're now producing in order to support the increased size of the army. Interesting. We're giving the Dutch trade privileges for nothing. For another 17 years. I know I said I was going to build up these sectors. So, alright, beautiful. There's tenant farmers. So interestingly, our Tenpō crisis, we haven't achieved all that much. 3 states with urban center lack social order. Like these are a lot of things I would love to get, but times are tough, and I need to keep the daimyo happy. They are going to get happier as time goes by. I now have the ability to get off of traditionalism. But I need the samurai back in power. Interesting. The samurai are not at all conducive to that. But if I could get to interventionism, that would be hugely good for our economy. The only people who would be against would be the daimyo. So many others would be for it, it's bananas. Would the... No, the Heimin and the Jisha would both be neutral. So I would be going through a period of instability in order to make this happen. The samurai... We're in the Shonin, that would put us at the bottom of the unstable government situation. If we went to contested government, that would be alright. 17%. But this would give us 24%. This is increased enactment time, increased radicals from political movements, and angry opposition groups. This will instead give us just reduced strength opposition groups. I think I'm going to go ahead and make this change. Maybe what else could I do with the Heimin around? I can only go to rigid, and that's not what I want. Only the petite bourgeoisie and the... only the Rangakusha and the Chonin will get me off of hereditary bureaucrats, and that's part of what I need for the Tenpō situation. How many levels of rice farms have I got right now? It's got to be quite a few. 21. Okay. Need to work on urbanization, but I also need to work on other stuff. Let me see what I can... Tell you what would you just straight up pay me for a power block embassy? Really? Nothing? That sucks. Power block embassy with investment rights? Interesting. Okay, can't get cash from other countries anymore. If I issue the frugal ordinance, that does make this does make my samurai and daimyo happier. And that would let me get all the way to interventionism. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And now we change up the government. And now we take a run for interventionism. Can't negotiate. But perhaps I'll be able to negotiate soon. Okay, no negotiation options popping up. You keep an eye on this and put in a comment if it changes. I'm going to be able to do this. This is going to be really hard, but I'm going to be able to do this. Oh, they're at -5 now. Ooh, that's bad. But they're going to be recovering from the change to tenant farmers, right? So it shouldn't be too bad long term. It's gonna go up. They're gonna go away from this. I know I need to reform the bureaucracy, but I've got to get to interventionism. There's no way to run an economy in traditionalism in Victoria 3. It just sucks. It just sucks so bad I can't do it. How's Tohoku doing for urbanization? We're actually at 205 right now and increasing. So I might end up going there instead of Kyoto, because Kyoto's at 225. Well, but we're building another arms industry. Nah, it's going to be equal. It's going to be equal. Osaka is actually very close. I don't need to build so much in Osaka now. In fact, I can cut one of my textile mills. And then Kyoto... Yeah, I'll just about get there with what I've currently got queued, so that'll be fine. Cash flow is pretty rough. Again, our increase in army stuff has been pretty difficult. Alright, so they're not as upset now. The stall chance has fallen to 19%. We're equal success in the stall chance. So I'm feeling pretty good about my ability to get into interventionism. If I can get to interventionism, we'll be doing it really okay. My standard of living is getting really, really good. That's mostly because of the increases in the working class. The Japanese Reform Society. Aizawa Seishi Sai. I don't know why I have such a hard time pronouncing Seishi Sai. Aizawa Seishi Sai has assisted with founding a national organization dedicated to uniting the Sono-Joi movement under a national leadership. It bears mentioning, then, in the case that we succeed, what are we to do? The structure we are building may endure for generations. To allow it to dissolve would be a tragedy. We cannot depend upon all who join to continue to bear the torch going forwards. Our camp contains many people, all with their own reasoning for lending their ears. We must not imply to them that we demand their compliance on any other matter. They're harmless at worst, stronger Sono-Joi movement. Send them a firm reminder of our disapproval. Weaker Sono-Joi movement, but increased activism. Or, Aizawa Seishi Sai is a man worth watching. He's 60, so I don't know if he's worth watching. They're harmless at worst. Yes, stronger Sono-Joi movement. You guys are going to help us get... You're not helping us get interventionism, but you're going to help us get a lot of things we're going to need. You're going to help us get to mass conscription. Media endorsements, debate events. The Voice of Hiroshima, a popular newspaper read by the daimyo class across the Tokugawa Shogunate, has published an article by Aizawa Seishi Sai advocating for the enactment of interventionism. Putting out a newspaper without promotion is like winking at a girl in the dark. Well-intentioned, but ineffective. William Randolph Hearst. Who are we to counteract the voice of the people? increased enactment success chance, reduced enactment time, or offer a thanks to the publisher. Modifiers, happier and but also stronger daimyo. I'm gonna go with the first one. I'm gonna get raw enactment success chance and reduced enactment time. That's really, really good. The daimyo are gonna chill over time about the tenant farmers, and that's gonna help us with the other stuff as well. And once we're at interventionism, we'll be spending a lot less cash. Because I think the private queue... Yeah, the private... One of the things that's going on with traditionalism is it's only 25% private construction allocation. Once we're at interventionism, it's going to be 50%, and that's going to improve the health of our overall nation, of our overall economy. Oh no, theater in Edo burns down. A fire has burnt down a popular kabuki theater in Kanto. While the theater troupe makes plans to rebuild, daimyo members, especially Mizuno Tadakuni, see this as an opportunity to regulate entertainment in Edo and force the performers to rebuild the theater outside of the city limits. Atop the platform of a fire lookout tower, there is a restless watchman who diligently keeps an eye over Edo. Late in the evening, he spots the telltale signs of a fire from his vantage point. As smoke billows and the acrid scent of fire fills the air, he rushes to ring the alarm bell. Unsuspecting townsfolk are alerted to the danger, and fire brigades launch into action, climbing roofs to control the flames. When the fires are extinguished, it's apparent much damage is already done. All that remains of one prominent kabuki theater are cinders and ashes in the wake of this destructive blaze. They must rebuild outside the city limits. 5% of peasant pops in Kanto become more radical. Daimyo interest group +3 approval for 5 years. Or allow the theater troops to rebuild. Increased opposition interest group approval. Mizuno Tadakuni loses prominence. 5% of peasant pops become more loyalist. Wow, this is a really tough decision because +3 opposition interest group approval is hugely good. But +3 daimyo approvals. I'm going to go with the approval of the daimyo, and here's why. Because the less they oppose my agenda, the better. Okay, these are better. These notifications are better now. Samurai authoritarian appears, straight and to the point. We've got an authoritarian who can lead the samurai now. Wonderful. That's a very good change to how those notifications get structured. Alright. Now, how am I doing with iron? I'm still a little bit not where I want to be with iron. Once I've got... Ooh, actually, I'm almost at Napoleonic Warfare, so I think what we're going to do next is we're going to build an artillery manufacturing in Tohoku. That's going to be important. Britain has expelled our diplomats. They've become domineering towards us. Britain, how could you? Britain, you bastards. We used to be friends. What happened? France, help. Okay, well, so that's interesting. Artistic expressions. Debates. A popular Japanese newspaper has released a statement by Oshio Heihachiro endorsing several poets known for their sympathies to the Rangakusha's interests. The ideals of love and comradeship are present therein, but when one looks beyond the surface, one is faced with the precise conditions for such a thing. Those things which foster the highest ideals and can be made manifest in one's daily life. I have no idea what this quote is from or what it's in reference to. I don't understand it. I feel like key context has been cut from this quote. The idols of Japanese culture stand behind our reforms, increased enactment success chance, or the loyal support of the Rangakusha should be rewarded. They become happier and stronger, 5% enactment success chance. I'm going to go with the second one. I think having a stronger intelligentsia is good for the short term, and 2% enactment success chance is really not that much of a difference, all things considered. And there's Napoleonic Warfare. Beautiful. The question I'm asking myself right now is, can I afford to wait on this? If I go to Kyoto, getting close here. Osaka, we should be over the line, or very close to over the line. Kanto, we're over the line. And Kyoto, we're getting there. Great Britain is damaging relations. Alright, that is what it is. That's unfortunate. Okay, we lost a Heimin politician. Our current leader is a moderate. Alright. Cash flow was doing a little better there for a second. Alright, so Osaka is over the line. And the rest we're building in Kyoto, which is here. And that should get us over the line with where we want to be. Maybe not. Hold on, we're currently at 225. We need one more low-level building, low urbanization building. Industrial boom. Our food industries in Kanto is reporting a small production surplus in industrial goods, which is looking to invest it back in the state. What more proof do you need? Industries are the way forward. We're now experiencing the second wave of the Industrial Revolution. Factories in every city, workshops in every town. We will soon industrialize the whole nation. Boost our industries further. Increase manufacturing and service industries throughput for 10 years. Nice. Ooh, I should also encourage resource industry in Tohoku so that I can get more iron out of those iron mines, because that's going to support our continued growth. Yeah, look at that. Look at that increase. Excellent. South German National Awakening. Very cool. Really thought it wasn't going to be a challenge to get my GDP up. Turns out I am wrong. So, I'm going to get my 3 states with a level 3 urban center. I think I'm going to need to build naval fortifications. Hey, we're in consideration. Wonderful. It's going to be expensive, but I think I'm going to have to do it. I think we can get there with GDP. It's just a little bit tough. But we're building light industry now, and hopefully that's going to be profitable for the country. I'm going to set all of our light industry to privatization. I'm going to allow our industrialists to purchase all of that. Arms industry is going to leave in the hands of the state, but farms, livestock ranches, vineyards, mines. Oh, mines. Mines should be privatizing. I don't need... These government dividends are not useful to me. Gold mines will leave where they are. Plantations, everybody privatize. Everybody privatize. Let's get Zaibatsus going. Do I have coal? I'm not extracting any coal yet, so that's not going to be useful. Now, I'm going to queue in my artillery increases. Let me see. I'm just going to round out my infantry. Alright, and then we'll do some artillery. We'll do half artillery in these smaller armies. And then for the Edo Guard, we'll do half artillery for them too. It's going to be a lot of construction, but it's going to be worth it. The Kyoto Citizens Association, a popular social club with the educated class, has held the Sanal in Kyoto, with Oshio Heihachiro speaking in favor of interventionism as an honored guest. That is indubitably the case, but have you considered what the reception of such a thing would be? Oshio nodded towards the speaker, then back towards the wood-paneled room. He put down his cap. I have spent some time thinking of it. We must in all things consider the thoughts of those who behold a thing for the first time. A first viewing is carried out with the eyes of an innocent, with mind open to new possibilities. They seem like the sort to know what's best, increase knife and success chance, or encourage the further development of these sanals. Kyoto gains, not as much enactment success chance, but Kyoto gains universal pop strength, qualifications, and minimum expected standard of living from literacy. I'm just going to go with the first one. Enactment success chance is very, very good. Still looking pretty good overall in our chances here, so I'm feeling very good about our interventionism situation. The daimyo are slowly relaxing about tenant farmers. So here's hoping we can keep things chill. I'm really hoping these textile mills are productive. We do have pretty extreme shortages of clothes in the country. There's the lathe unlocked. Actually, that's going to be a huge boon for our economy. Whoa! A special method here. That's cool. Alright, let's go ahead and get our dye workshops and our furniture manufactories. We've got lead production capacity, we're just not using it. Alright, how has that impacted tooling? Tooling's okay. Alright, excellent. Clothes are improving. In supply, that's very, very good. Let me see, where's lead? Lead has become expensive, but it is being produced by our lead mines. So that's very good. Feeling pretty good about that. Furniture. Where's furniture? Luxury furniture is still a little bit expensive. Furniture is still a little bit expensive. Alright, good. That's very good. The more productive our light industry is, the better for my industrialists specifically. Still got about 1.94k in government dividends. I really would prefer to privatize those industries rather than increasing my national whatevers, but rather than providing government dividends, because that's going to increase my economy better. How's the iron supply? Iron supply is doing pretty well. So let's get our last set of construction industries over to iron frame. Law progressed to adoption. That's wonderful. At this point, regular wood, softwood, has become quite cheap. So let's go ahead and... how many more... we've still got quite a few logging camps that are not producing hardwood. I think they will be more productive if they produce hardwood, because hardwood is pretty expensive in our market. They're still pretty far away from each other in terms of overall price. Let's grab one more and swap them. Alright, and that's made hardwood very affordable. Softwood remains where it is. Alright, excellent. So that's going okay. Now we do have the ability to negotiate with the daimyo at this stage, but I'm not worried about that. I don't I got a 48% success chance. Only a 19% stall chance. I'm pretty confident in my ability to get interventionism, particularly with no setbacks. But I've fallen into an unstable government. That's what's happened. How could I do this to me? That's why it's going so slowly now. That's okay. I can figure my way out of this. Unfortunately, cash flow is going to get pretty bad, but it's going to get better once we've got interventionism, and hopefully that'll be soon. Knock on wood. Hopefully interventionism will be soon, I say, as we got one more tick. 48% success chance, that's pretty good. Dye Works accident. Several workers died today at the Kyoto Dye Works when an industrial-sized tub of hot dye accidentally spilled out over the workshop floor and the unsuspecting workers. Locals are upset about the incident, claiming that poor safety regulations in the hot and dangerous workplace are to blame for the accident, and are urging the government to take action. As rescue workers left the scene, several workshop employees were left dying. We shall all die sooner or later. 5% of laborers perhaps become more radical in Kyoto, 4% mortality for laborers employed in manufacturing, or they shall not have died in vain. 4% mortality, but trade unions stronger instead of reduced, instead of radicalization. I'm going to go with stronger trade unions. I think that's fine. Alright. Now, as we build our artillery foundries, We'll be spending quite a bit of time building the barracks that are going to use them, but at the same time, that's not necessarily going to be a problem. And again, you may be asking, DeGenCat, why are you building a bunch of barracks? You don't need barracks. And the answer is, heckin', I need barracks. Ever-increasing influence. Members of the Japanese Dutch Society have discreetly dispatched one of their number to amplify their mission in the Tokugawa Shogunate's most widely read newspaper. The Japanese Dutch Society has calculated with utmost mastery the dissemination of materials to secure a foothold in both the political world and the public's imagination. With great satisfaction in lobbyist comments, there is no denying that the number and reach of newspapers is ever expanding. This approach is sure to reach influential lawmakers to favor our scheme. This sets a bad precedent, daimyo upset, or this is ingenious, appeasement increases by 1 but reduced legitimacy. This sets a bad precedent. Piss off the daimyo all I like. Building up all these barracks is also going to increase the power of the samurai, theoretically, which is going to depower the daimyo further. Again, I think a coalition of the samurai, the jisha, and the heimin, and potentially the shonin is going to be our sort of lock-in state for the late game. But we've got a lot we need to do. I can't topple the shogun too soon because I want to be under Emperor Meiji when the time comes, not Emperor Kome. Let's take a quick look at our national cast of characters to see how things are going to go with that. I need to figure out where my emperors are at. The Tuileries Charter has been formed by France. It is a trade league. Alright, that's fine. So Yamato Ninko is the current emperor. Yamato Shunin, I guess, is crown prince. Oh god, do I need to know their actual first names? I hope not, because I only know their imperial names. Is Yamato... Is Emperor Meiji not even born yet? I suppose maybe not. I think his first name is Matsuhiro, but I could be wrong. You're 55, you're 44. Okay, so Yamato Shunin can't be Yamato Ninko's leader. I think this is Emperor Kome. Alright, so anyway. Something we're gonna have to keep in mind as time goes by. Come on, give me interventionism. I need it so bad. I need it so bad. Please, please, I need to have an economy. Please. My economy. I need an economy. I need to have an economy. Ah. I see with the daimyo at this level of chillhood, I might even be able to... Beautiful. Oh. My lips to God's ears. Wonderful. Alright, so we're going to chill a little bit longer. Actually, we're going to change up the government. That's not going to help. How can I get off of hereditary bureaucrats? Who's going to help me with that? Only the Rangakusha or the Chonin. I think appointed is going to be better for my needs, so... And that's going to be easier to get by the daimyo anyway. So, I'm going to pop the samurai out of the government. We'll pop the jisha into the government. No, we'll leave them be for now. Are the jisha going to help me achieve anything? Not really. So I'll simply leave the daimyo in control of things for now. And then, when that's done, once they're feeling a little bit more chill about all these changes, we'll take a run at fixing the bureaucracy. Um. Yes, of course. I'm experiencing a bureaucratic shortage because I've got because I went to interventionism. All right, so let me see. 1, 2. The heck? What's going on here? Kyoto, I just built up a bunch of stuff in you. Okay, well, let's get some paper mills. This was a dumb way to do this. I shouldn't have did this way. Because we're going to build up a few more construction sectors. Actually, hold on. Before we build up construction sectors, where are we most short? Or not construction. Not in Kyoto, that's for sure. Alright, Kanto. 2 levels of government. Hokushinetsu. 3 levels of government. That should be enough. Where's the market with paper? The market with paper is actually doing just fine. So, all I need to do is put all of this stuff up here, and then we'll be good to go naturally over time. And that'll be fine. That should get us where we need to be. Actually, I'm going to need 1 more level. Osaka, how are you with taxation capacity? You need more of it. That's what's for dinner. Nice. Agility. Okay, and that's going to fix our cash flow. So as you can see, our cash flow is already doing really, really well. We've been pretty much fixed by interventionism, and our investment pool is going a little haywire as a result, which I'm feeling pretty pleased about. I don't know why Kyoto is having such a hard time developing the necessary urbanization. I thought I built a bunch of stuff there, but maybe I built it somewhere else, and I'm a big, dumb goober. There's medical degrees. Okay, so, we gotta... Alright, we've got our 3 states of the level 3 urban center, finally. Alright, that's beautiful. I think I'm gonna cut these, I may need these paper mills eventually, but let's focus on building things that are more urgent for the time being. So... The daimyo are stubbornly holding to their saltiness about the changes, but again, shouldn't be too long. Ideally, I want them to not get down to -5, because that'll make them more inclined to do opposing things. All right, here we go. Beautiful. All right, they ticked 1 over, and that should mean that we can do this. So let's get the Chonin. Is there a social movement that's gonna help me do this? The Sonojoi movement doesn't care about bureaucracy. The Sabaku movement doesn't care about bureaucracy. The Peasant movement doesn't care about bureaucracy. Mahayana Traditionalist movement? No. No. Okay. Sonojoi movement I'm actually going to bolster, I think. Although this movement is not... We're fine, actually. We don't need too much stuff here. Alright, so this is going to be an uphill battle. The Chonin are quite weak. And the government's going to be a little unstable, but we've got changes we've got to make, and we've got to make them. So let's go ahead and enact. Let's It's going to get the daimyo down to -2 opinion, but that's okay. I can live with that. They're pretty happy overall. Now, part of the reason I'm building up these government admins is because I am going to gain taxation capacity from it. That's going to partially compensate for the cost. The other way in which it's going to compensate for the cost is the increased bureaucracy will remove this tax waste and government dividends waste penalty, and that's going to help my finances. Broad hope is that as we get these built up, we'll have enough money to build a few more iron mines, and that's going to further allow us to increase the size of the construction sector, which is going to in turn increase the growth of the economy. Now, our investment pool is continuing to increase in size, and private sector is building some fisheries right now, which is pretty alright. 18% stall chance isn't great. We have a very high debate chance, so I'm hoping I can get some... Ooh. Leader of the Chonin is a traditionalist now, which makes our government marginally more legitimate. If I drop taxes down, this is a real gamble. But I could move myself from... Let's actually do it. Because that'll put me in a contested government, which will make me a little bit more... I almost never deviate from the golden middle path from a tax policy perspective. But I think this is going to be more effective in terms of my needs. I actually think I need one more government sector. So where else am I short? I'm short in Tohoku, clearly. I mean, I'm short in most areas other than the capital. Let's build one more government admin in France. This is spelled out. France. Could you dial it back, please? Can you maybe chill? Why is this? Why does this happen? In recognition of accomplishment. With the recent investment in Tohoku, the raw goods industry has resulted in a positive balance for the logging camps there. Interest groups are quick to try to claim credit for this investment. We often talk of the progress we've made through the hard work suffered that led us to this joyous occasion. What is often not addressed are those who got us to this point, and how without their contributions we would not see such achievements. Gosho deserve all the credit, they become stronger. Daimyo should get the credit, they become stronger, or workers should be recognized. Trade unions become stronger, but the Gosho and the Daimyo become unhappy. I'm going to give it to the Gosho, as I did before. I think that's simply the most sensible way of doing things for Japan. I know I promised I was going to be more aggressive this time, but, you know, things are hard. Red tape. The civil service, currently led by the Daimyo, are deliberately stalling the government by creating unnecessary paperwork. They demand that their jobs be protected under the appointed bureaucrats' law. I'd be happy to assist, but unfortunately this requisition form has only been stamped twice. You'll have to file a complaint with the regional ombudsman, who's currently very busy optimizing our new filing system. You can expect a prompt response within 6 to 8 months. Current civil servants can keep their positions, preserve bureaucratic class, slightly higher, slightly stronger daimyo will be added to appointed bureaucrats. The secret police will keep them in line, reduce bureaucracy, reduce enactment success chance. Interesting. Or use this opportunity to train their replacements. Increase enactment success chance. Reduce bureaucracy, increase enactment time 1 setback. Interesting. Reduced bureaucracy is tough, but getting 5% enactment success chance ain't bad. On the other hand, a long-term increase to the power of the daimyo is not great, but it's only a 15% chance. I don't want to take the equivalent of... I don't want to take a setback this early. This one would get me some enactment chance, though, which would be a little better. But it would run me towards... I'm going to pick the third one. This is a gamble, but it's going to increase my enactment success chance, and that's good. Again, I would love to be able to negotiate, but this is going to be a little bit of a tough one. I need to accomplish all of these. I need to accomplish 8 agenda goals. I should be able to get there with hereditary... I'm hoping I can get there with hereditary bureaucrats. Getting the Shonin to be stronger has proven not as straightforward as I had suspected. Let's get a little bit more taxation capacity in Shigoku as well. I'm going to throw that at the top of the queue. Should have just used the shift button, but them's the brakes. Again, I just want to have a little bit of a buffer over top the amount that I need. Every new amount of capacity that I get is providing additional taxation capacity, which is going to make things easier in the country overall. However, I am a little bit straining paper production. I was going to build up paper somewhere. This is where my sulfur lives, here in Tokai. Actually, where else have I got sulfur? Before I do that, sulfur. I have sulfur in most of the north of the country. In fact, I've got a lot in Tohoku, quite a bit in Kanto. But Tokai is a good place to build specific, to have an industry live there. So let's build up Tokai for the time being. I'm still building a bunch of barracks, and I do still need to build a bunch of barracks, because again, I have a lot of Europeans who are interested in shooting at me. Where's my improved relations living at? That's up here. Okay, I'm almost done improving relations with these places. So why are France and Britain so belligerent? Why must you do this? Why must you do this to me? Why must you be so antagonistic to me when I am simply minding my own business, being a country over here far from your shores? Alright, we're getting increased GDP. Hopefully that'll get us over this line to 14.3. And that'll be nice. I might, if I can get hereditary bureaucrats, I might be able to just make a break for it with the naval fortifications. That would be nice. They would be very expensive, but they would be nice. Because we're pretty close to what we need GDP-wise. Public address goes awry. Another stall event. What was meant as a routine speech about the merits of appointed bureaucrats by Hotta Masayoshi has quickly devolved into a public relations disaster for the Rangakusha. Fumbling his way through a series of poorly presented talking points, Hotta Masayoshi's arguments have been viciously and convincingly picked apart by his political opponents. The question on everyone's lips now is merely if this mishap was due to the inherent failings of appointed bureaucrats, or can be chalked down to the political incompetence of the Rangakusha. It is the fault of this poorly thought out proposal, reduce enactment success chance by 15%. Hotta Masayoshi must take the blame for this setback, reduce enactment success chance by 10%, but the Rangakusha become less popular, and Hotta Masayoshi becomes less popular as well. Or scrap the current draft and make a show of a rewrite, increase enactment time, 10% increased enactment chance, and he loses some popularity with one additional setback. I'm going for it. I'm at 2 setbacks now. This is pretty rough, but if I can get maybe a little lucky, I can maybe make this happen. Daimyo are at -1 happiness, but I think they're going to cross over another line pretty soon. I am spending a lot of cash on artillery at this point. Iron is also pretty expensive. I think I'm going to queue in another block of iron mines. Unfortunately, I'm paying a lot in government goods. Maybe we'll just build a couple more iron mines before we finish the military expansion. This military expansion is taking a long time. I'm going to throw some iron mines and some paper mills at the top of the queue. Oh, no, this is just because the private sector isn't using that much of the construction queue right now. That's all that's happening. I'm not insolvent. I'm just not paying attention to current economic conditions effectively. All right. Got quite a few supply ships available. I could build a fleet. Maybe that would be good. Let's take another look at consumption taxes and see how things look. I think a luxury clothes one would be effective at this stage. But it's so little cash. I'm gonna do it. It's very little cash, but I've got so much authority in the pot that I think it's gonna be worth it. Private sector. Private sector is building nothing right now. Why, are you taking a break? Oh, because they're buying yeah, that's what's happening. The private sector is buying businesses that I've built already. That's why they're not constructing anything, which makes sense. Ooh, I have a negotiate option. I can negotiate with Daimyo. If I can get them off of stall, I can be in a great spot. Let's do this. After much shouting, insults, and regrettable turns of phrase, several paths have emerged that have convinced the daimyo to allow appointed bureaucrats to pass. When a man says he approves of something in principle, it means he hasn't the slightest intention of carrying it out in practice. Put them in charge of the treasury. This will cost us a huge pile of cash, decaying for 10 years. Put their members in administrative positions. It will cost us a bunch of bureaucracy for 10 years. Let's add some fine print about political concessions. I don't like that. I think we gotta sacrifice the bureaucracy to the daimyo for now. All right, they're no longer opposing things. We have 0% stall chance, 14% advancement chance. We're gonna need to spend a little bit more cash, but I'm okay with that. We've got iron mines under construction. Let's get these paper mills up to the top of the queue, because I want these paper mills for the government sectors that I'm going to have to build. Alright, I'm going to press the button that crashes the game. Oh, before I do that, the bureaucratic struggle. Our efforts to pass the appointed bureaucrats law have run into several classic bureaucratic hurdles. Debates rage about such lofty matters as the correct shape of filing cabinets. Good, fast, cheap, you get two. Spare no expense, reduce bureaucracy, reduce enactment time, increase enactment success chance. This will take as long as it takes, increase enactment time, increase bureaucracy, increase enactment success chance. Or just get it over with, reduce enactment success chance, reduce enactment time, increase bureaucracy. I'm going to spare no expense. I almost always pick this. I think it's the most sensible way to do things. Obviously, that's going to be tough on the treasury, but it is what it is. So, I'm going to press the button that crashes the game, but hopefully it won't crash the game. We'll see what happens. Where's my government admin? Where's my government admin? Where's my government admin? Am I terrible at this? I'm terrible at this. Alright, oh, that's not the button. This is the button. Alright. So, we'll sort by tax capacity needed. I need a little bit more in content. Okay, first I'm gonna be me, same as I always do, and we're gonna even out uneven levels. Then we're gonna do, so that's 3. Then we're gonna put 2 in Tohoku and 2 in Shikoku. We're gonna put those at the front of the queue, but below the industrial expansion we're currently working on, and the associated barracks that are not quite done yet. And that's gonna... Okay, so appointed bureaucrats is now just a question of time. So, Tenpō Crisis, I'm gonna do that. Let me see. We're gonna hit our point with GDP for sure. I'm not worried about that at this point. We only need another 200k in GDP. And there it goes. And that means the only thing else we need is naval fortifications. Obviously, those are going to be expensive. How many levels do we need? We need 10. 10 levels of naval fortifications in owned states. Alright, so we'll swap over to development. Naval fortifications. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we'll do 2 in the capital town. I know Kanto is not technically the capital, or Edo is not technically the capital, but it will be the capital at some point. That was dumb. Oh, I'm so good at video games. Alright, there we go. That's what we need. That's where we need to be. And this should... I should have enough time to do this. If I don't... If I've mismanaged the time... These paper mills still take a long time. You know what? Just to make sure that I'm good to go with this... Wait a minute. Okay, I guess I'll start improving relations with Austria. Can I improve relations with the United States? No, not quite yet. I'm still improving with Russia. How's the Ottoman Empire doing? They're at major power. Relations with the Dutch are okay. I'm going to improve them. The Kaie era. Prince Osahito has ascended to the chrysanthemum throne as Emperor of Japan. His ascension has marked the beginning of the Kaie era, named for everlasting happiness. From somewhere out of sight, a musician gave the signal. 2 ladies of the court opened the throne's curtains. There was the Emperor, dressed in scarlet robes decorated with white and green dragons. Their volumes swallowed up his seat, making him seem as if he floated on air. A curtain of beads descended from his crown. The shadows they cast hid his eyes from view. Clothing rustled around Yozo. His head... This should say either he bowed his head or his head bowed. We're going to say he bowed his head. Fellow attendees prostrating themselves in a great wave. He followed them, and the Emperor's shadowed face disappeared from view. Days later, on the road back to Edo, he attempted to reconstruct what he had seen, yet found no purchase. He could recall the crown, the curtains, the boxes resting on the Emperor's side. Of the man himself, there was nothing to be formed. Your years will be as many as the grains of sand on the shore. Changes their first name to Kome. Okay, and he gains the trait Emperor of Japan. So this is Emperor Kome. And now we're in consideration for appointed bureaucrats. I think I may have I may have done this one wrong. We'll see. For a bowl of rice, accusations of rice hoarding and price gouging have caused tensions between farmers and merchants in Tohoku to boil over. With the peasants' ranks swelled by brigands and beggars, local authorities now face a province-wide rebellion. We read this event earlier. I'm going to let the unrest die out on its own, same as I did before. I simply can't deal with this many deaths. It's such an extreme answer. It's too much. Alright. Iron mines are getting done. Paper mills are getting done. I'm actually going to tick the paper mills down below. I need to be assured these naval fortifications are going to get done properly. Now, okay, so I'm going to have hereditary bureaucrats. I'm going to have the naval fortifications. I'm realizing I'm actually missing one. Because I need to complete 8 of these. So, I need to be more aggressive about this. So, first we're going to do the naval fortifications. I'm just going to simply endure the government debt. How many rice farms have we got right now? We have 21. Let's get the last ones using fish fertilizers. Harvesting tools, that's not useful. Maintain single crop, that's not useful. Alright. And let's hit the button that crashes the game. We'll do even numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. And then we need 8 more. So we'll do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and do I build up the Ryukus? Do I have the infrastructure there? I really don't. We'll do a couple more in content. All right, and then I'm going to throw everything else at the bottom of the queue, and we're gonna rush there as fast as we can, and see if we can get over the line with this. Did I put one at the bottom? No, I did not. All right, beautiful. I've still got a year and 9 months, so I think I'm gonna make it. I think I could calculate the math, but that would be extremely boring for y'all, so I'm not gonna do that. If I want to really go buck wild, I could build up a few more construction sectors first. I think that might be nutty, but we'll see. I might still do it. I think I'm gonna do it. I think I need a few more construction sectors. Let's build them into Hoku. And France is damaging relations. Well, I don't love that. Law debate success. Excellent. So this, I think we're going to be able to get there. I am going a little bit, I am going whole hog into government debt right now, but I think I'm still going to be able to get there. Government dividends are going down, which means the private sector is continuing to purchase most of the businesses that I've been building. So we'll see if that can improve. Interest here decreased to none. Oh, but in South China. The Japanese-Dutch Society offers opportunity. The Japanese-Dutch Society has offered us an opportunity to establish a defensive pact with the Netherlands. The lobbies offered to use their connections to smooth the negotiating process. The negotiations done under the table with the representative of the Dutch government have been long and arduous. The Dutch representatives knew they were dealing with a group without power to match theirs and adjusted their strategy accordingly. Nevertheless, they'd come to an agreement. Nothing in writing, but that was hardly important. When the government sent the official copy, if they did, they would find there was already a drafted response waiting in Amsterdam. They'd be happy to pursue this, or this is not in their interest. I'm going to say this is not in their interest. I'm not worried about that. I've got very happy daimyo at this point. I can get one other... No, I can't get another change done because I haven't actually finished appointed bureaucrats yet. Alright, so... on the policy of the government. Oshio Heihachiro, on behalf of the Sono Joi movement, has released a pamphlet fiercely criticizing the government's current policies. His pamphlet has become popular within reformist circles. On the Shogun's policy, the great speech delivered before the esteemed Kyoto Society for Reform in mid-October. Error and makeup. After reading the first page of speech, passed to page 5, then page 4 and 6. We must respect the principle of free expression. He becomes more popular. The movement reduces inactivity, but increases in traction. Confiscate the pamphlet wherever it emerges. They become more active. Or begin an inquiry into the identities of the authors. Their activism goes way up, but attraction goes down. I'm just going to do the first one. I think I'm perfectly fine with that movement being a little stronger. Asha is improving relations. I think if I... Truly, how's my iron supply? My iron supply is a little tight. But truly, I could build even more construction sectors to support my continued... my continued growth. I think I will. Alt-click to put them at the top of the queue. There we go. Just going to get those done really fast. I think this is also going to help the investment pool. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we're getting a little bit more capacity. Law progressed to adoption. Excellent. Maybe I'm more worried about this than I need it to be. But maybe it's actually going to prove impossible to do the thing I need to do. I don't know. I'm way back and forth. These are going pretty quickly. Rice farms, how much do you cost? You only cost like 100, right? Something like that. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Oh, I can do the confiscation order. Reduce decree cost, increase tax collection. Is this good? I'm gonna do it. Oh. Landholders resist centralization. Our move to confiscate land in Kanto and Osaka has been met with widespread opposition in the local landholders. The loudest complaints come from those whose lands were granted as rewards for military service. Military merit awarded my ancestor the land I now hold in my name. Since Sekigahara, each generation has tilled the land, increased its yield, and rendered unto our masters their due, ever without complaint. How does such service warrant the treatment we are now afforded? Is relocation without due recompense to be our reward? Cancel the centralization before this gets out of hand. Reduce legitimacy. And Mizuno and Tadakuni gains reckless. Offer those relocated land as compensation. Cost the government more money and cost of some bureaucracy penalty. Or remind them this is the will of the shogun. Middle and upper servant pops become more radical. He becomes ruthless. And extra legitimacy. Increase radicals for low legitimacy. Daimyo become upset. I'm gonna throw the bureaucracy under the bus. I gotta do it. It'll cost what it costs. I've gotta do it. Alright, I'm building 3 farms at once. I think I can make it. I'm spending a huge boatload of cash. There's army reserves. Nice. Still on the Atmo Pump engine. If I can get the Atmo Pump engine, once I get the Atmo Pump engine, I won't be in such a bad spot with iron. And that's going to help my cash flow. I'm already in debt. This is terrible. I'm going to be really deeply in debt for an entire year. But I've got to build these rice farms. This is it. This is me completing my objectives. I think I'll probably name the episode the Tenpō Crisis because of the amount of stuff that I've done. And there's appointed bureaucrats. Excellent. That's also increased taxation capacity, which is really, really good. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get this done. This is me succeeding at my goals. Ignore this number, and this number especially. This number, ignore it. It doesn't matter. I am a success. Alright. And just to confirm, we need 40 levels of rice farms, and they're in construction. They're rolling. They're going. Is fish expensive in our market? Where is it? It's here. Mostly not. Mining accident. A mine in Kyoto has collapsed, trapping miners within the dark shafts below. The scale of the accident has made the tragedy a story across Kyoto and the nation. They dug me out, but left my friend behind. That was all the foreman was able to get out of the wretched boy. Sooty rags clung to him like wispy strands of a torn funeral jacket. Whether he held back his tears for fear of a beating or to keep strong, the foreman did not know. He was spent for the day. The foreman hoped the manager had a mind for mercy. This is a small price to pay for the march of industry. Lower certain pops in Kyoto become more radical, stronger and happier industrialists. This outrageous abuse of the common man cannot continue. Upper stardom pops become more radical. Stronger and happier trade unions. Or these mines are a blight upon men and countryside alike. Middle stratum pops become more radical. Stronger and happier rural folk. Amen. I'm going to go with the third one, actually. I think that's fine. A stronger and happier Heimin is good for the country. Yamato Kome became an adult. Interest group Samurai, traits wrathful, sickly, Emperor of Japan. He adopts the Shoujo ideology. Closed borders, isolationism, mass conscription, jeune école. Interesting. Okay, maybe I didn't need to go as buck wild about this as I was hoping I needed to. We're having a shortage of small arms because of all the small arms being used by our naval defenses. But we've got naval defenses built. That's what matters. I guess I'm going to hope the private sector builds more naval bases. All right. Anyway, best to be closer to finishing than further than you want to be. Although actually, now that the private sector is using some of this construction capacity, I'm not building as much as I would like to be. I'm very nervous about this. My nerds, I'm very nervous. I could do math, but I don't want to do math. Private Q's only got one thing in it, and now I'm using all the construction again. So I think this will be fine. I think this state of affairs is going to basically continue. The investment pool is filling only very slowly, so hopefully I'll continue to hold the majority of the construction capacity in the country, and that'll continue to be reasonable. I see that shortage of iron. Okay, now it's sorted itself out. This interest number, don't pay attention to it. It's not important. It's the crisis. We're solving the crisis that's important. The interest, don't worry about it. What national debt? National debt, schmational debt. It doesn't matter. We're almost there. Oh boy. I've got a lot of weeks left over. And the private sector is building an iron mine, which is good. Okay, it's time for me to do math. Unfortunately, we must all, at times, complete math. Rice farms. Where's my... How can I see? Okay. This isn't the button that I want to be hitting. This is the button. Where is the construction cost? 200. Okay. So, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9.5. So 200 times 10 is 4,000. 4,000. So 3950. I need 3950 construction. At this rate, I'm producing 45 per week. So 3950 divided by 45 is 87 weeks. I'm not going to make it. I need to increase the size of the construction sector by a lot to do this. Ugh. I can't believe I goobered myself like this. Again, this is temporary. This is just temporary. We just need to have enough construction capacity to finish these farms, and then we'll go. Then we'll fix the economy, and then we'll be fine. But I need to get these built really, really fast. I'm spending so much. I've goobered myself on iron. I've goobered myself on small arms. Ah! Life is so brutal. But I've gotta. I think this will sort me. I think this will get me there. Golly, I hope this will get me there. I may have simply overestimated myself and underestimated my private sector. But I may have let these numbers get really silly. I'll be very unhappy if this ends up all being for naught. But I think I can get there. Maybe the answer is I need to go a little bit crazier, even. Gosh, I hope I'm not annihilating my economy. I am spending a boatload of money right now. But it's worth it. It's worth it. If I can get my Tenpō crisis finished, it will all have been worth it. I'm literally biting a hangnail right now. I'm so freaking invested in this. This is crazy. I think I might... Nah, I don't need to keep my contested government at this time. I can boot these lads out and increase taxes. Back up to Midland. Okay, so with the private sector continually building iron output, I think I'm going to be able to make it at my current cost basis. It's going to... I don't pretend I didn't say cost basis. I don't know what that term actually means. I think I've got enough time. I think I've got enough time to get there. I've only got a few more months, but I think I've got enough time to get there. It's the end of the year is my cutoff point, and I'm almost there. Again, I'm taking on a lot of national debt, but I think it's going to be worth it. I think it's going to be worth it. We're going to complete the middle path for the Tenpō crisis. We'll have 2 hardliner agenda ones and 2 reformer agenda ones completed, and all 4 of the shared ones. So I think this is going to be really worth it. I think I actually needed to build all that construction in order to make sure that I made it, because I'm cutting this really close. Beautiful. There's the Atmo pump engine. I'm going to cue this into the top. All right, 8 weeks. I'm going to get there. I'm just barely going to get there. Cue this one down to the bottom. Again, we're just sort of managing this stuff to make sure that we've got the time. And there's the atmospheric engine. Through the widespread introduction of the atmospheric engine in the mining industry, productivity is at an all-time high. When steam first began to pump and wheels go round at so many revolutions per minute, what are called business habits were intended to make the life of a man run in harmony with the steam engine, and his movement rival the engine in punctuality. I'm sure we can squeeze a little bit more from these machines, extra mines throughput, or perhaps there's an even better way, extra progress for water tube boiler. I'm going with the extra progress for water tube boiler. I think that's sensible. For now, let's get the iron mines onto the Atmo pump engine. That puts us in a shortage of coal. Never mind. We got to build coal mines before that can work. But we will build coal mines. This is a crazy level of debt to be assuming at this pace in the game. But we'll see. We've almost finished with our rice farms. We've almost hit the end of the Tenpō era, and with just a few weeks to spare. No, Japanese-Austrian Friendship Committee. Interesting. With just a few weeks to spare, we complete our Tenpō crisis. Let's see what we get. Mandatory reforms. Pleased with the pace of reforms, the Shogun has congratulated the presiding councilors on their progress, believing the Japanese nation to be able to overcome any coming challenge, be it foreign or domestic. 12, sire, the chief counselor added, setting the brush aside on the table, and the reports from Kenai showing much of the same. Our reforms appear to be taking root. From the dais, the Shogun gave a curt nod. Very well. I want the court informed in due course. Now, regarding the report from the Nagasaki magistrate. The stability of the realm is paramount. Extra bureaucracy, extra legitimacy, extra home defense, increased political strength of bureaucrats, reduced radicals from political movements, 5% of middle stratum pops in the shogunate become more loyal. Beautiful. All right. So now that our construction sector, now that our agenda is complete, I need to rework our priorities somewhat. I'm going to cut a few levels of construction sectors. to allow us to continue to grow sustainably. That ends our iron crisis for the time being. How does it deal with our cash crisis? We're paying 20k in interest. I cannot afford that. So, first things first is government admins. I've got to get my bureaucratic capacity sorted out. A good vintage. The wine produced in Tokai has been lauded by sommeliers as outstanding. When people say that something ages like wine, they don't always make the distinction between wine and wine. So let me make that distinction. If you can get your hands on a bottle from Tokai, that bottle can be more than just a good time. It can be an investment. Make this an exclusive product for export, extra prestige, or increase production to meet booming demands, increased wine building throughput. Where is wine in our... Okay, wine is actually... Yeah, we'll need to increase production. That's good. I'm going to put this iron mine actually below the government admins because I'm really desperate to sort out my cash flow issues. Oh, hey, we got rewarded with a nice new soundtrack. Now, we're getting actually a 25% penalty to taxation here. So our national revenue, we've got 25k in national revenue that we're just not getting right now due to these processes. So these government admins are really worth it to build. They're also increasing our taxation capacity in the areas they're built in, which in turn is going to make those areas pay more of the taxes that we can bring in, which also makes them worthwhile. I am going to end the episode pretty soon. I just want to kind of see how things look when we fixed our bureaucratic shortage. We've got a lot of bureaucratic shortfalls, right? Yeah, this one's decaying. That one's 3 years. This is just cash flow. Pure cash flow. I think this may actually not be enough bureaucracy to get us over the line. So I'm going to go ahead and build 2 more levels. Hopefully that'll get us where we want to be. Now I'm building very micromanagey with this construction queue, but I think it's worth it. I know I'm adding government expenses by increasing these... Oh, the Rangakusha have become marginalized. Interesting. That's a big change for the country. And now... Beautiful. Alright, we're much, much closer to where we want to be. I need iron mines, I need paper mills, and I think once the iron mines and paper mills are built, I think from that point forward, I am going to simply cut all government construction, and from that point forward rely on the private sector for a little while we get our national debt knocked away. Stock exchange. Excellent. The daimyo are very happy. We have a new leader in charge of the G Shah. I really would like to build these iron mines. I can't move them into the private queue in any way, shape, or form. But I also need to build coal mines. I'm going to cut these later iron mines and just work on finishing out my paper mills and the iron mines that I've got queued in already. I'm going to need 2 coal mines to make sure that my Atmo pump engine works. We'll build those in Tohoku. Wow, we have pretty low coal capacity. Why am I building these? Ooh, gold discovered in Yezo. Excellent. Actually, I think I need the iron mines first. I'm very indecisive. Maybe I should simply put a pin in the episode. Actually, I think that's what I need to do. I think I've become a little bit tired out. and I'm not making smart decisions in terms of managing my nation. So, that is all we're going to have for this episode, my nerds. We finished out the Tenpō crisis. We've made very good progress modernizing Japan. We got to interventionism. We got to appointed bureaucrats. We got to Capital Fleet, which isn't that great. We got to Shinsengumi, which is pretty all right. We built up a rock-solid economy. Doesn't seem like that much growth, but I think it is. We built a solid construction sector. We still have some shortages in various resources, but we'll look to mend that issue in our next episode. For now, I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.